Shanghai City, a Lin family estate. I was sprawled across the leather couch, staring out the window at the night. Poof! A tiny fireball popped to life in my palm. This was the starter skill I'd gotten a few hours earlier at the awakening ceremony, right after I awakened as a mage. Fireball. I'd been in this world for 18 years now. It's the kind of place where the wilderness is crawling with monsters. Everyone awakens a different class when they turn 18, then grinds their way up by killing monsters and getting stronger. A few hours ago, I'd awakened as a mage, except I was a blank slate mage with 0 elemental affinity talent. Skills are a pain to learn, control is garbage. A total trash tier class. Blank slate it is, then. I poked the little flame in my palm like I was teasing a pet. You're a little weak, sure, but hey, I'm not picky. From now on, you're in charge of lighting my cigarettes and reheating my food. The two of us will just coast through this mansion for the rest of our lives. A happy little lighter. Beats going out there and throwing down with bosses that are, what, 100 feet tall. Before I'd even finished, the little fireball gave a violent twitch. A row of text popped up on my status panel. Your skill, Fireball, strongly protests your statement. It considers your life plan a grave and personal insult. It is roaring. You may be a lazy slob, but I am not. I will evolve. I will become a world-shattering, forbidden spell. Who the hell wants to be a lighter? To avoid being raised into a useless dud flame, Fireball has decided to run away from home and go grind levels on its own. I hadn't even processed it yet. Whoosh! The little fireball took off with grim determination, dragging a furious red tail of flame straight out the window. I looked at my empty palm, then back at the window. The fireball entry in my skill list had changed. Fireball LV.1 status. Ran away from home. Enraged mode. Current mood. Out for blood. Damage plus 100%. Am I seeing things? My skill came to life. I'd heard of wives walking out on deadbeat husbands. I had never once heard of a skill walking out on its master for being too lazy. My mom's gentle voice floated up from downstairs. Come down for dinner. Coming. I grabbed my phone and rushed out of the room, my head full of questions. Lin family, a dining room. The long table, seats 20, was loaded with delicacies. At the head sat my father, Lin Tianhao, one of Shanghai City's defense commanders, class raging thunder war god. Even in his loungewear, he radiated a mountain-like presence you couldn't suppress. My mother, Su Wan, head of Shanghai's largest alchemy conglomerate, class holy high priestess, was elegantly ladling soup for him. With a family background like mine, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted in this city. I pulled out my chair, chopsticks in one hand, frantically searching on my phone with the other. Skill runs away from home. Skill has self-awareness. My skill insulted me. The Universal Awakening system had been around for centuries, and I couldn't dig up a single record of anything like this. Just eat. Why do you keep staring at your phone? Dad frowned. I flipped my phone face down and forced a smile. Just looking up some stuff about classes. My parents exchanged a glance, eyes full of barely concealed heartache. Our boy says he doesn't care, but deep down he's clearly torn up about that blank slate class of his. He can't even focus on dinner. Poor kid. Stop searching. The internet's half lies anyway. You'll just upset yourself. Eat first. Your health comes first. Dad dropped a slab of meat into my bowl. Mom chimed in softly. That's right. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I've already got it all figured out. Just pick any college, coast through, and pick up some lifestyle-type skills after you graduate. Cooking's a good one. We own a ton of 5-star restaurants. Use any of them to practice. Or plant growth magic. My alchemy herb gardens cover thousands of acres and could use a manager. She swept her hand toward the rolling estate outside the window. These hills are all ours. Down the line you can keep birds, raise fish. As long as you don't gamble, I've got enough to support you for 10 lifetimes. Hearing this, my heart leapt with joy. In my last life, I was a corporate drone who literally worked myself to death. Now I get a do-over. Why on earth would I live that hard again? Just look at this estate. This absurd, overflowing wealth. Couldn't burn through it in several lifetimes. Being a rich family son who just eats, sleeps, keeps birds, and admires flowers. Doesn't that sound amazing? Besides, the skill ran off on its own. You expect me, the mage, to grab a staff and go whack monsters myself? I set down my chopsticks, my face the picture of sincerity and emotion. Dad, Mom, don't you worry. Starting tomorrow, I'll take charge of helping Mom spend money and polishing Dad's medals. I will absolutely be a qualified son. PFF, Dad nearly spat out the soup he'd just sipped, and Mom's smile froze on her face. We're trying to comfort our son, but isn't he rolling down that hill a little too eagerly? Would it kill him to show even a sliver of don't underestimate a young man down on his luck defiance? 1 second ago, he was researching like he had ambition, and the next he's got this blissful, I can finally freeload off my parents legally look on his face. What gives? Ahem. Dad covered his awkwardness. Well, a good attitude is a good thing. Fine. If you've made peace with it, eat up. You got it, Dad. I contentedly picked up my bowl and shoveled the rice down in a few bites. I'm stuffed. You two should turn in early too. Don't overwork yourselves. I wiped my mouth and bolted upstairs, because my brain was now 100% occupied with, what is the deal with that little delinquent fireball? Where did it run off to? And is it even coming back? The moment I rounded the stairs and disappeared, Dad let out a long sigh and pinched the bridge of his nose. Forget the blank slate talent. It's the attitude, way too lazy. He shot Suwon a glare. This is all because you spoiled him. Every day it's happy education this, happy education that, not an ounce of killer instinct. Lin Tianhao, don't you dare pin this on me. Suwon's brows shot up. Her elegance vanished in an instant. Before the awakening ceremony, who was the one going on and on about I don't want my son out in the wilderness risking his life? When Mo was little and practicing sword work, who was so afraid his hands would hurt that he secretly swapped his black iron training sword for a foam stick. And now you complain he's too lazy? Too late. Let me tell you, Mo turning out this way is entirely your fault as his father. That was just because I felt sorry for him. The mighty raging thunder war god, who'd been so imposing a moment ago, instantly shrank half a foot and pulled his neck in. Suwon gave a soft humph, her eyes full of resignation. Enough, stop sighing. That class of his, everything past the mage's basic tier, is elemental skills. With no elemental affinity. Even if you feed him skill books, the success rate of mastering them is rock bottom, and his combat micro is way worse than those specialist mages. Let it be. As long as he's happy, that's all that matters. Dad put his smile away, lit a cigar, took a deep drag, his expression grave. That's easy to say, but our family's empire is huge, and plenty of people are watching it. As long as we're alive, no one would dare touch him. But the day we step back, or if something unexpected happens, he glanced toward the upstairs and lowered his voice. With Mo's lazy temperament, never mind holding on to the family legacy, it might just get him killed. Suwon fell silent. As much as she doted on her son, as a woman who ran a commercial empire, she understood better than anyone how this world devoured the weak. So what do you suggest we do? Dad stubbed out the cigar, his eyes blazing. Honey, you're a battle goddess, and I'm a healing god. Our genes are top tier. Mo's situation is purely a statistical fluke. Old Lin, what are you getting at? Suwon's lovely face flushed 2 shades of red. Let's have another one. Dad grinned and leaned in close. You shameless old man. At our age. Suwon scolded, but she didn't push him away. How is this shameless? This is for the continuation of the family line. Dad declared righteously, scooping her up and striding toward the master bedroom. I ate most of that demon dragon meat. I'm bursting with energy right now. You devil, gently, don't let Mo hear. Second floor bedroom. Completely oblivious to my parents' grand plan downstairs, I locked the door behind me, flung myself onto the big bed, and immediately pulled up my class panel. The fireball icon was still grayed out. It's been half an hour, and it's still not back? Right then, a string of notifications popped onto the panel. Your skill, Fireball, has trekked a long distance and arrived at the Verdant Plains, LV.13, in Shanghai City's southern outskirts. Encountered a fanged rabbit, LV.1. Fireball lets out a sneer. This is it? And this calls itself a monster. Direct hit on the front teeth. Kill confirmed. EXP +5, proficiency +1 dot. Fireball is extremely displeased. The EXP from a low-level mob like this is an insult to its noble status. It is accelerating its search for stronger opponents. I'll take on 10 at once. Watching these battle reports scroll by, I sank into thought. The most crucial point. The EXP was flowing back to me for real. That meant that even though Fireball appeared to have run away from home, it was still part of my skill system. In other words, I rubbed my chin. The cheat code I've been waiting 18 years for has finally been deposited into my account. A personified skill. I'm lazy, but I'm not stupid. As an old web novel addict from my past life, I instantly grasped just how terrifying this thing was. First, fully automatic cultivation. Other people have to gamble their lives in melee against monsters to grind levels. In this world, dead is dead. No respawns. Me? I sit at home, and the EXP rains down from the heavens. As long as the skill keeps grinding, I can level up and rack up proficiency while I'm flat on my back, asleep. Second, and this is the truly broken part, perfect micro. Two mages of the same level can be worlds apart in real strength. Predicting movement in the heat of battle, controlling flight trajectories. All of it depends on enormous talent and experience. But now, the skill has its own brain. It aims itself, predicts for itself, and frankly understands how to kill monsters better than I, its master, do. This isn't a cheat code, it's a full auto AFK bot. I lay back comfortably and prop the pillow up higher. Sure, it's got a nasty attitude, but seeing how hard it's working, I'll forgive it for leaving without saying goodbye. In this world, casting skills drains mental energy, but the little Fireball is out there grinding levels and doesn't seem to be draining my mental energy at all. A perk of being personified? Ding. Fireball has been surrounded by a Plains Gray Wolf pack, LV.1. Count, 15. HM, 15. My heart skipped a beat. Newbie monsters or not, that was way too dangerous for a LV.1. Hey, don't go getting yourself killed. If you can't win, run. But the next notification left me stunned. Faced with the encirclement, little Fireball doesn't retreat. It becomes extremely excited. It finds picking them off one by one a waste of time that slows down its leveling. In its fury, it deduces and rearranges the fire element configuration. Little Fireball has erupted. It has comprehended the fission mystery of fire elements. Congratulations. Thanks to your skill's heaven-defying comprehension, it has independently evolved an advanced skill, Multi-Burst Fireball, LV.1. Multi-Burst Fireball instantly splits into 10 to 15 fireballs for saturation bombardment, triggering a secondary explosion on impact. Cooldown, 15 seconds. BLM. Killed Plains Gray Wolf X15. EXP plus 75. Proficiency greatly increased. Little Fireball blows a smoke ring. A pack of trash thinks it can stop my evolution. Holy! I shot bolt upright in bed. There, in my skill list, sat a brand new skill, Multi-Burst Fireball. I may be a terrible student, but I've got the basics down. In this world, skills come in 6 tiers: basic, intermediate low, intermediate, advanced, legendary, and forbidden spell. Basic skills like Fireball and Water Arrow can be learned by any mage. But starting from the low intermediate tier, it's not so simple. You can't just chow down a skill book and suddenly comprehend them. Multi-Burst Fireball may only be low intermediate, but it involves elemental fission and secondary detonation. Even a fire specialist blaze mage might not master it on the first try, let alone a blank slate like me. But now, less than half a day after my awakening, without laying eyes on a single monster, without so much as touching the cover of a skill book, just because the skill found killing monsters too slow, it went and comprehended this on its own. Heaven-defying, absolutely heaven-defying. I stared blankly at the new icon. So this is the world of Grind Kings? Other people level up their skills, my skill levels up me. I couldn't help running the numbers. At this rate, once I hit LV.10 and can learn a second basic skill, if I learn Water Arrow, will it find the power too weak and grind itself into a tsunami spell? If I learn Earth Shield, will it decide it's not tough enough and grind itself into absolute defense? If my entire skill set grinds like this, wouldn't I, the blank slate mage, become an all-element forbidden spell god? HSSSS. I sucked in a breath. This was a path to godhood while lying flat. At this rate, the class holder grand exam in 3 days. Me, a blank slate. Am I about to make a stunning debut? I felt a little flicker of excitement. Lazy as I am, pulling a good score while lying down and earning my parents some face. That wouldn't be bad at all. Ding. Fireball finds the verdant plains monsters too weak and is heading for the higher tier zone, the gloomy dense forest, LV.35. Message: go to sleep and quit making a fuss and interrupting my operations. Fine, fine. The skill's working this hard. How could I possibly drag it down? At a time like this, the best support is to not get in the way. To support your great leveling enterprise, I have decided. I yawned and shifted into the most comfortable position. Sleep. Heaven is big, earth is big, but sleep is biggest. Go for it, little fire. If you haven't hit LV.3 by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm gonna laugh at you. 2 minutes later, the steady sound of breathing filled the bedroom. Lin family master bedroom. Lin Tianhao leaned against the headboard and contentedly lit a cigar, his bare upper body crisscrossed with scars, a war god's medals. Still got it, Commander Lin. Su Wan, wrapped in a silk robe, traced her fingertips lightly over the scars. That demon dragon meat wasn't wasted. Just like the old days. Of course. Lin Tianhao raised an eyebrow. You think you know who I am? Raging Thunder War God. That round just now. If I weren't afraid of waking him o'er, I'd have easily thrown in a couple more rounds of thunderous might. Quit bragging. You want to tear the house down. Su Wan pinched him. Then her expression clouded with worry. I just hope this one has decent talent, so that down the road, when Emoer gets bullied, he'll at least have a little sibling to protect him. Relax, I've got a feeling this one will work out for sure. Emoer was a fluke. Do it again, and we'll definitely get a little monster. Bzzz, the phone on the nightstand buzzed. Lin Tianhao glanced at the caller, and his expression turned odd. Old Zhao, probably calling to brag. The moment the call connected, Zhao Lei's booming voice poured through. Yo, old Lin. Still up this late? From the sound of it, you haven't turned in yet, huh? Spit it out. Heh. Nothing much. My boy's done with his awakening. Just sharing the good news with an old comrade. Zhao Lei wasn't bothered and bragged away. My kid awakened as a blaze mage. Shame his fire affinity is only S rank, pretty average. Lin Tianhao gave a cold snort. Blaze mage, S rank fire affinity. And you call that average? My own thunder affinity as a raging thunder war god is only S rank. Anyone with S rank affinity is a lock for the city's absolute top tier in the future. Oh, not bad. Congratulations. His tone was flat as a board. Thanks. My son's got drive too. He's already nearly LV.3. Oh right, old Lin. I heard your Lin Mo's awakening didn't turn out so great. How about I have my boy take him under his wing? Look out for him a bit. We go way back. Beep. Lin Tianhao hung up, expressionless. A dead silence settled over the bedroom. Su Wan hugged his arm, her heart aching. Angry about what old Zhao said. You know exactly what kind of guy that old codger is. Lin Tianhao leaned back against the headboard, his fingers tightening slightly around the cigar. I had him beat in college. I had him beat after we joined the city defense force. For decades, he's never once stood up straight in front of me. Now heaven hands him a son who's an S-rank blaze mage. All that frustration he's bottled up for decades. He's finally found his chance to even the score. Su Wan sighed. Husband, an S-rank blaze mage is a genius among geniuses. At the class holder grand exam 3 days from now, the Zhao boy is sure to steal the show, maybe even break the city record. And then, when Moer's score looks so bad, the nasty gossip will be unavoidable. He wouldn't dare. Lin Tianhao's eyes flew open, his aura exploding outward. If he dares say one bad word about Moer to my face, I'll rip his mouth off. Fists can shut Zhao Lei's mouth, but they can't shut everyone else's. Su Wan fretted. That son of his is arrogant and overbearing, and he's never gotten along with Moer. He's bound to rile up a bunch of his lackeys to run their mouths. Lin Tianhao blew out a smoke ring, his voice dropping low. For fairness, the grand exam only allows the most basic bronze-grade equipment, pure, raw strength, with the whole city watching the live broadcast, all eyes on it. He crushed the cigar out hard, his gaze resolute. No, I won't let Moer suffer that humiliation. Tomorrow I'll tell him to call in sick and skip the exam. We've got more money than we know what to do with. Throw a little cash around, get him into any college, coast for a few years, and call it a day. Better to let him sleep comfortably at home than show up and be the Zhao family's laughingstock. Su Wan's eyes reddened slightly, and she nodded. We'll do as you say. He's our only son. Face or no face, it doesn't matter, as long as he's not hurting. Honey, one more time. Lin Tianhao turned his head. Zhao Lei wants to compete through our sons? Fine, then I'll compete with him to the bitter end. As for Mo, for the rest of this life, we'll keep every storm out there off of him. Even if he's a good-for-nothing, he's the most precious good-for-nothing Lin Tianhao's ever had. Suwan wrapped her arms around his neck, her gaze tender. Right? No one else gets to bully a child of the Lin family. The next morning, Lin Mo's bedroom. I cracked my eyes open groggily and stretched. I'd slept incredibly well. Out of habit, I pulled up the panel. Name, Lin Mo class. Mage level, LV.3, 25%. Skills, Fireball, LV.3. Multi-burst Fireball, LV.3. My pupils contracted sharply, and every trace of sleepiness vanished. Holy crap, actually LV.3. Leveling up in this world is never this easy. Even a rich family genius, led by a whole squad, might just barely push to LV.3 on day one. And me? I slept, did absolutely nothing. And I'm already LV.3, with the EXP bar 25% past it. So this is the charm of a full auto AFK bot. I marveled. There was another line under the skill list. Fireball status, catching up on sleep, snoring away, mood, utterly exhausted, kind of wants a midnight snack. Last night's record, killed Fanged Rabbit x 158, Plains Gray Wolf x 135, Venomous Spider x 112. Message, worked myself half to death. Hey you, hurry up and get me some fire element food to recover, or I'm going on strike. Looking at that grouchy message, I didn't get mad. Why pick a fight with my own skill? It's still out there grinding levels for me. Mo, are you up? Come down for breakfast. Mom called from downstairs. Coming. I rolled out of bed, washed up, changed, and headed down humming a little tune. Lin family, a dining room. Morning, Mom, Dad. I pulled out a chair and sat down, grabbing a slice of toast on the way, in a great mood. Suwan looked at her son's carefree, happy-go-lucky face, and a pang of bitterness welled up in her. Old Lin's words from last night were still ringing in her ears, but to say to her son's face, "You're not good enough. Don't go embarrass yourself," was simply too cruel. She was just weighing how to bring up the sick day, when, suddenly, the holy high priestess's instinct told her something was off. Her son's aura. How was it a notch stronger than yesterday? A detection spell quietly settled over me. Lin Mo, level, LV.3. Suwan froze on the spot. LV.3? You promised you'd stay home and play the carefree young master. You snuck out in the middle of the night to grind levels? Lin Tianhao was about to ask what was wrong when his gaze swept over me, and his whole body jolted. His eyes nearly popped out of his head. LV.3? He shot to his feet. Hold on. Mo, you were still LV.1 when you went to bed last night. How are you LV.3 already? Crap. I'd been so busy enjoying myself that I'd forgotten to work out a cover story. Say the skill ran off and killed everything on its own. No good. That's far too shocking. A skill developing self-awareness is unheard of. If it ever got out, who knows what the consequences would be. This is my single biggest trump card. I absolutely cannot let it show. My brain raced, and in a tenth of a second I slipped on an expression that was equal parts sheepish and stubborn. Dad, Mom, actually, I scratched my head and sighed. After dinner last night, I was lying in bed thinking, and I still felt awful about it. Yeah, I'm a blank slate mage, but I'm still your son. So once you two were asleep, I snuck out and grinded for a bit. My eyes were clear, my tone earnest. Don't worry. Even without elemental affinity, I'm going to work hard and get stronger. Even if I'm a slow bird, I want to try flapping a couple steps first. The dining room went quiet for a few seconds. Lin Tianhao and Su Wan exchanged a glance, and their eyes instantly reddened. Look at that. Who says our Mo is a lazy slacker? He talks about freeloading, but behind our backs he's grinding all night long, just so we won't worry. As for how he hit LV.3 in a single night, neither of them suspected a thing. They handed their son spending money by the fistful, so obviously he'd just paid some high-level class holders to power level him. Extravagant, sure, but for the Lin family, was that even worth mentioning? Good. Good boy. Lin Tianhao clapped a hand on my shoulder. With a heart like that, your dad is content. Since you want to train, your dad's got your back 100%. He waved a big hand and shouted toward the door. Hong Yu. The door opened, and a sharp, striking figure strode in. Black form-fitting leather armor, wine-red hair tied up in a high ponytail, dashing and spirited, eyes keen as blades. Commander. She bowed slightly, her voice cool. Since you've got the drive to level up, don't go sneaking off alone. It's not safe. Lin Tianhao looked at me. After you eat, have Hong Yu take you out to the wilderness. Train however you like, but safety first. Yi Hong Yu, my dad's loyal subordinate, no small talent, and someone I knew well. Looks like there was no getting out of this wilderness trip. With little Fireball's hot temper, if I stayed lying around at home, it'd throw a fit to go out and hunt. And then there'd be no explaining how I leveled up while lying down. Whatever. It doesn't drain my mental energy when it kills things anyway, and lying around anywhere is lying around. I'll just call it a walk. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. I beamed. Picking my chopsticks back up, I suddenly remembered little Fireball's message. Fire element food? Could it be that the skill needs to keep topping up the corresponding elemental energy, and that's why combat doesn't drain my mental energy? Ahem. Mom, is there anything fire element heavy for breakfast today? Like flame fruit? Or a crimson flame beef steak or something? Suwon paused, then her smile deepened. Our son has no fire affinity, so he wants to make up for it the hard way, through food. The method was a drop in the bucket, but this kind of drive was so rare and precious. Yes, of course there is. She immediately ordered the butler. Go bring that crate of lava crimson heart fruit and the blaze rhino tenderloin that came in yesterday. Have the kitchen sear it fresh right now. As long as Moer will eat it, even if it's the liver of a fire dragon from the heavens, Mom will get it for you. 10 minutes later, plate after plate of staggeringly expensive food was laid out on the table. The dense fire element aura made even Yi Hong Yu, standing off to the side, glance over. This single meal cost as much as an ordinary family spends in a year. I didn't stand on ceremony. I grabbed a lava crimson heart fruit that looked like a little tomato and tossed it into my mouth. Boom. A surge of heat rushed down my throat and spread through my whole body. At the same time, I clearly felt the skill icon stir to life in an instant. Ding. Fireball has tasted high-purity fire element. Mood. Delighted, like chugging an ice-cold soda on a scorching day. Fireball roars, YSSS. That's the stuff. I'm bursting with energy. Where are those wild monsters? Hurry up and let me out to burn them all to death. My hand froze mid-cut on the steak. This little fire is way too volatile. I couldn't let it out now. Little fire, settle down. You're my skill. Could you maybe show a little tact? Fireball scoffs. Can tact be eaten? Cut the nonsense and take me to the wilderness now? Helpless, I silently recited in my mind. We'll go once I'm done eating, but first let's lay down some ground rules. 1. Out in the wilderness, don't stray too far from me. Within 500 meters, got it. Fireball snorts coldly. TCH, what a pain. Fine. For the sake of this meal, I'll do as you say. Now eat. Eat up and let's get to work. 2. You have to keep up appearances. Everybody else's fireballs go out one at a time, explode, and they're gone. But you? You hang around up in the sky afterward looking for your next target. Does that make any sense? After you fire one off, you disappear on the spot. Fireball bristles. Make me bail right after firing? I am destined to become a forbidden spell. How could I do something so sneaky? I will hover in the sky and make the monsters tremble in fear. No. If you keep hovering out there, people are going to figure out something's off with me. And then when I get hauled off to be sliced up and studied, who's going to get you top-tier magic beast meat to eat? I deliberately speared a sizzling, dripping piece of blaze rhino and dangled it by my mouth. See this? This one piece costs tens of thousands. If you won't behave, from now on I'll drink plain rice porridge every day and not let you near a single spark. Fireball falls silent. That bloodthirsty icon flickered twice, as if locked in a fierce battle between dignity and gourmet food. After a few seconds, Fireball caves. Fine, fine, fine. As long as the meat keeps coming, everything's negotiable. It grumbles an addendum. But you remember this. This is not me chickening out. This is a tactical maneuver. It's for the sake of more lasting slaughter. My mouth twitched as I popped that fire element beef into my mouth. Sure, maneuver away, whatever makes you happy. Now that's more like it, little fire. As long as you behave, forget Blaze Rhino. Down the line, I'll get you the heartmeat of a crimson flame fire dragon for a snack. Fireball anger gauge instantly drops to 0. Status: eager anticipation. Done. In a great mood, I polished off the food on my plate in a few bites, wiped my mouth, and stood up. Dad, Mom, I'm stuffed. Sissy, let's go. To the gloomy, dense forest. At the words, gloomy, dense forest, Suwon's hand froze on her utensils. That's a mixed LV.3 to LV.5 grinding zone. There are packs of shadow wolves and venomous spiders too. You've got no real combat experience, and you're a fragile-bodied mage. Honey, you worry too much. Lin Tianhao waved a big hand and gestured at Yi Hongyu. With Hongyu along, what's there to fear? She's the youngest elite squad captain in our Jianghai City Defense Forces Special Operations Brigade. Don't worry, madam. Yi Hongyu bowed, her voice cool and resolute. As long as I have a breath left in me, I will never let the young master come to the slightest harm. Suwon could only sigh. Then all right. Remember, there's no need to push so hard. If you run into danger, hide behind Hongyu. Whatever you do, don't try to be a hero. Don't worry, Mom. I value my life above all else. I nodded obediently. Lin Tianhao laughed with satisfaction, then turned to Yi Hongyu, his cheerful face instantly turning serious, a commander's authority on full display. Hongyu, I'm entrusting MOR to you. If you run into uncontrollable danger, whether it's a person or a monster, wipe it out. No need to report back. That last half sentence sent a flash of iron-blooded killing intent through the dining room. Yes, Commander. Yi Hongyu snapped to attention and saluted, her eyes sharp as a blade's edge. All right, enough. Don't make it sound like a tearful farewell. I waved them off and led the way to the door. Dad, Mom, see you later. Tonight, I want stir-fried crimson flame fire dragon. Fireball drools. Mood. Thrilled and eager. Damage plus 100%. Of course, Mom will have it prepared right away. Mom called after me. Jianghai City outskirts, entrance to the gloomy, dense forest. A black military off-road vehicle rumbled to a stop at the forest's edge. Yi Hongyu got out first, sweeping a wary gaze around in a full circle, and only after confirming it was safe did she open the rear door. Young master, we've arrived. I stretched lazily and climbed out, gazing at the forest cloaked in year-round mist. A chill wind blew through, leaves rustled, and from deep within came the occasional roar of a beast. Fireball cackles, gloomy dense forest, this lord has returned. Tremble, wild monsters. Despair, you ants. My wrath shall baptize this land once more. Keep a low profile. You're a skill, not a final boss villain, I silently grumbled in my head. The two of us walked into the forest's outer edge, one ahead of the other. Yi Hongyu drew 2 cold glinting daggers. Young master, to keep your leveling efficient, I won't party up with you. Partying splits the EXP, and a high level carrying a low level gets it docked even more. I'll pull and crowd control the monsters, beat them down to near death, and you take the last hit. That way you get 100% of the EXP for yourself. Understood, Sissy. Thanks for the hard work. I nodded, perfectly relaxed. Watching my nonchalant manner, Yi Hongyu gave a small, inward sigh. She'd watched this young master grow up. Lazy, yes, he'd lie down before he'd sit, but never with the arrogance of a rich kid. He was courteous and humble to the staff, and the whole household adored him. She'd assumed the blow of this awakening would leave him depressed for a while. Instead, he'd been grinding all night the moment he awakened, so driven. What a shame he was a blank slate mage. In this world, what a mage valued most was elemental affinity. It determined damage, comprehension odds, and above all, command over one's skills. A blaze mage with fire affinity could direct a fireball like an extension of their own arm. Even as a beginner, point and it strikes. A blank slate mage, on the other hand, was like holding a gun with massive recoil. Whether you hit anything was up to the heavens, and the gap only grew more obvious the further along you went. No matter how hard the young master worked, this innate handicap would be brutally hard to overcome. Getting into the capital's Supreme Academy, which hadn't admitted a single blank slate mage in several hundred years, was likely impossible. Yi Hongyu halted, her expression tightening. Young master, the area ahead is Shadow Wolf territory. They're also LV.3, but they're known for their speed and agility, extremely hard to deal with. With your current command over Fireball, even if I cripple one, you'll have a hard time landing the hit. And a miss wastes both mental energy and time. I'd suggest we go around. Head west for the Ironhide boars. Thick hide, but slow-moving. Good for practicing your aim. We're already here. If we run into one on the way, just cripple it for me. Don't waste the EXP. I shrugged carelessly. But, relax, sissy. I've got a little confidence in my aim. I grinned. After all, little Fireball had hunted a whole loop through here last night. I wasn't worried in the slightest. Yu blinked, doubt creeping in. Where does the young master get this confidence? He's probably never seen a high-agility wild monster. That makes sense. The monsters on the verdant plains are nowhere near as fast as shadow wolves. He's only this confident because he's never seen one. All right, if the young master insists, let's give it a try. If you miss, I'll finish it off immediately. I won't let you come to any harm. Swish. The brush to the left suddenly exploded apart as a gray-black blur shot out like an arrow off the string. Shadow Wolf, LV.3. Careful. Yu's form rushed to meet it like a phantom, her dagger carving a cold arc, precisely slicing the wolf's foreleg and belly. Then a side kick slammed viciously into its flank. Bang. The shadow wolf crashed to the ground, not dead, but in a sorry state. Young master, now's your chance, she shouted, retreating to clear the way. Crippled as it was, this wolf was a speed-type magic beast, and its life-or-death dodge instinct was not to be underestimated. It all came down to whether the young master could seize the moment. Go, little fire. A single command. Fireball can't even be bothered to look at it. A stray mutt? This lord grants you a glorious death. Whoosh! An orange-red fireball screamed out of my palm. The instant the fireball launched, the shadow wolf lived up to its agile reputation. Even gravely wounded, it suddenly rolled hard to the right, deploying its innate shadow flicker talent, and slipped clean out of the fireball's path. Oh no, it missed. Yu's heart sank. Just as I feared, a blank slate fireball flies too straight, can't handle a sudden change of direction. She was about to move in for the kill. The next second, she froze in place, her eyes snapping wide. That fireball, having already missed, grazed past the wolf, then came to a violent dead stop and forced itself into a U-turn, hurtling straight back at the shadow wolf. Fireball, you dare dodge? Did this lord say you could dodge? Now di. Yu couldn't hear its inner voice, but she could distinctly feel the fury of wounded pride in that fireball the moment it banged. Boom. The looping fireball slammed precisely into the shadow wolf, and the low HP beast burst apart on the spot. Shadow wolf killed, EXP plus 20. And after the kill, the little fireball faithfully kept its word and vanished on the spot. Yu stared hard at the flames that hadn't yet dissipated. That was second stage mental energy guidance. She turned to look at me, hands in my pockets, standing there loose and slouchy, the picture of ease. Second stage mental energy guidance wasn't all that advanced among mages. High-tier mages could even do third or fourth stages, making a fireball draw a flower in midair. But the problem was, the person in front of her had only awakened yesterday, a blank slate rookie with no elemental affinity, less than 24 hours past his awakening, forcibly bending a projectile's trajectory through sheer mental energy. No wonder the young master hadn't even spared the high-agility shadow wolf a proper glance, hadn't bothered to maneuver at all. He'd even been digging in his ear a moment ago. So this was the confidence of the strong? Sissy, why are you spacing out? Let's get the next one. I called out. Yu snapped back to herself, drew a deep breath, and forced down her shock. The way she looked at me had completely changed, now carrying a heartfelt admiration. It's nothing, young master. I just didn't expect your command over Fireball to already be at this level. I was overthinking it. With control like yours, a shadow wolf really is no threat. Haha, is that impressive? I scratched my head, a little embarrassed. After all, I'd done nothing but say little fire go. Fireball rolls its eyes. Just a turn, that's all. This woman acts like she's never seen the world. Is it really that big a deal? Picking its nose mockingly. If I pulled off a midair Thomas flare into a Z-shaped ghost step and finished with a heart shape, wouldn't this woman drop to her knees and start calling out to God right there? Humans, such drama queens. Oh, shut it, you. I was speechless inside. This little fireball sure talks a lot. Yi Hongyu put on a serious face. Young master, since your control is this precise, let's change tactics. These high agility, squishy wild monsters are perfect. From here on, I'll pull and cripple them and toss them over, and you do the reaping. That's the most efficient setup. Sure thing, Sissy, let's do that. The moment I heard it, I was thrilled. No need to move my legs. Just sit here and wait. Amazing. All right. Stay safe, young master. Yi Hongyu's form flickered and shot into the forest like a streak of black light. Watching her back, I stretched lazily, found an agreeable-looking crook-necked tree, plopped down against the trunk, pulled out my phone, flipped it sideways, and queued up a ranked match. Good thing this crummy forest has signal. Fireball bellows. Where are the monsters? Where are the monsters? I need to farm. I need to evolve. What's the rush? I didn't even look up. Sis, you want to pull aggro. Rest up for now. You'll have plenty to keep you busy soon. Fireball snorts coldly. Busy? There is no tired in this lord's dictionary. Only slaughter. Only growing stronger. This lord shall become a forbidden spell. A moment later, the brush rustled urgently. Young master, incoming, catch. Whoosh. A black shape came arcing through the air, a shadow wolf with a broken hind leg. I kept my eyes glued to the screen, deep in a critical team fight, and didn't so much as lift an eyelid. Fireball instantly fired up, die. Boom. A fireball nailed the wolf's head right as it shrieked midair, one-shot kill. Shadow wolf killed, EXP plus 20. Nice shot. Praised Yi Hongyu, having just landed, but one look under the tree and she froze again. I was still in the exact same pose, cradling my phone and muttering. Can you even play marksman? Stop feeding. Get back to tower. Get back to tower, man. The young master, is he playing a game? That last shot, and he didn't even raise his head? She gritted her teeth and burst back into the forest. She returned shortly. This time she didn't toss it straight ahead. She flung the low HP shadow wolf high into the air. I was frantically tapping at my screen. Is the support blind? Peel for me. Come back and peel for me. At the same time, the fireball roared skyward. Fireball, you think flying high helps? Die. Boom. The fireball collided precisely with the falling wolf midair, blasting it to pieces. That hit too. Refusing to believe it, Yi Hongyu darted back into the forest, grabbed a venomous spider, and lobbed it in from my visual blind spot. Young master, behind you. Backdoor. Holy crap, someone's backdooring. I cursed at my phone, which, to Yi Hongyu, sounded both like cursing at a game opponent and like a response to reality. Just as the spider was about to land, fwhip, a fireball shot out from beside me, made a wildly unscientific acute angle turn in midair to swing around behind the tree. Bang! The spider burst in a spray of juices, and I sat there steady as a mountain, never even turning my head. Yi Hongyu stood rooted to the spot, scalp prickling. For the next half hour, a red blur wove through the trees, flinging half-dead wild monsters at that one tree from every tricky angle imaginable, from behind, overhead, around the trunk. And the young man beneath it played as if he had a full map hack on. The fireball always arrived a step ahead, exploding violently the instant it made contact, never letting a single one hit the ground. The most terrifying part, his eyes never once left the screen. So this is a true genius? Yi Hongyu was breathing a little hard, her mind in turmoil, splitting his attention two ways. No, this is beyond simple multitasking. He's honed his mental perception to the realm of the mind's eye, without using his eyes at all, purely through the ripples in the airflow and his mental sense. He locks onto every target and calculates the perfect trajectory. Commander Lin always says the young master is lazy. So this is the world a genius lives in? Killing these monsters is less of a challenge to him than a mobile game? Truly, a tiger father breeds no canine son. No, the student has surpassed the master. The sun slanted toward the west. Beneath the tree, a warm golden light welled up around me. Congratulations. Level increased to LV.5. After an afternoon of slaughter that still left it wanting more, your skill, Fireball, has gained a major proficiency boost, now LV.5. I stretched comfortably and put my phone away. Sweet. 5 wins in a row, and I leveled up on the side too. Life just keeps looking up. Yi Hongyu walked out of the woods. A whole afternoon of pulling monsters had left even a high level like her thoroughly worn out. Young master, congratulations. LV.5 on day 2. That's already very fast. It's mostly because you pull the monsters so well, sissy. I patted the dirt off my backside and stood up. Young master, the commander just messaged. He's prepared a random field dungeon scroll for you. Dungeon EXP is higher than out in the wild. Let's head back to grab it and have dinner while we're at it. Sure, let's go back first. Fireball darts wildly around the panel, drooling. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Stir-fried crimson flame fire dragon. Dinner, dinner. The off-road vehicle's engine roared. The two of us left the gloomy, dense forest and headed straight for the Lin family estate. Zhanghai City, a Lin family villa. Night fell, and the villa blazed with light. The black off-road vehicle stopped before a carved fountain. I stretched lazily as I got out, and Yi Hongyu behind me stayed on alert. Even here, in the absolutely secure heart of the Lin family's home base. The moment we reached the door, 2 rows of maids in black and white uniforms bowed in unison, well-trained and respectfully composed. Welcome home, young master. I was long used to it. I smiled, nodded, and gave a casual wave. Yeah, hi. MOR's back. In the hall, Suwon had been waiting a while. Even in everyday loungewear, she couldn't hide her grace. She hurried over, took hold of me, and looked me up and down. Are you tired? Did you get hurt? I see your clothes are barely dusty. Hongyu protected you well. Mom, I just want to grind levels. I didn't go to war. What could have happened to me? With Sissy there, I was totally safe. I shrugged and smiled. Safe is all that matters. Satisfied, she pulled me toward the dining room. You must be starving. I had the kitchen follow your request from this morning. Fire element maxed out. Lin family, a dining room. The 5-meter table was loaded with delicacies, and tonight everything was a uniform fiery red. Stir-fried crimson flame fire dragon liver, lava core fruit salad, blaze rhino spine bone soup, lotus fire roast whole lamb. The entire dining room was thick with a scorching, heavy aroma. One whiff and your throat felt like it had swallowed a ball of fire. Dad was already seated at the head, beaming and waving. Come, MOR, sit here next to your dad. The instant I sat down, little Fireball started raving. Fireball, eyes blazing, drooling all over the floor. Eat, eat, eat. That's fire dragon liver. I want it. Shove it in your mouth now. My mouth twitched. I picked up a piece of fire dragon liver and unhurriedly blew on it to cool it. What's the rush? You ever heard of burning your mouth? Fireball hops up and down in a frenzy. Burn my ass. I'm a fireball. You think I'm scared of hot? Are you even a man? Eat it in one big bite. I ignored it and savored my meal. With the high-purity fire element going down, I could feel the warm current inside me steadily nourishing the restless little fireball. Suwon turned to Yi Hongyu and smiled. Hongyu, thank you for the hard work today. I see MOR is already at LV.5, 2 levels in one day. You must be exhausted. She took a gold card from her bag and held it out. This is the VIP card for an equipment shop under Andy's name. You should upgrade your gear too. Consider it a token from me. Yi Hongyu didn't take it. She bowed slightly, respectful but stubborn. I appreciate your kindness, madam, but my equipment suits me well, and I've no need to change it for now. Protecting the young master is my duty, and it's the commander's order. I truly don't deserve this. When you're told to take it, you take it. Lin Tianhao put on a stern face. Why so much fuss? My wife's word is an order. Besides, when one of the Lin family soldiers goes out looking shabby, it's my face on the line. Only then did Yi Hongyu accept it solemnly with both hands. Then she drew a deep breath, her expression complicated. Actually, madam, there's something you've misunderstood. The reason the young master leveled so fast today is mostly that the young master himself is formidable. Without his miraculous control, no matter how many monsters I pulled, the efficiency could never have been this high. The dining room went quiet for a few seconds. My parents exchanged a glance, thinking they'd misheard. A blank slate mage, how formidable could he possibly be? But Lin Tianhao knew Yi Hongyu's proud, upright nature better than anyone. For her to say formidable this earnestly, it was anything but simple. Suwon, unaware of the backstory, took it for flattery. Hongyu, I know you're loyal and want to give MOR some credit. but just speak plainly. That's fine. Madam, I'm not exaggerating. Yi Hongyu said gravely. The young master is the most gifted mage I have ever seen or heard of. The moment the words came out, I couldn't help shrinking my neck, my cheeks burning, being praised to my face, in all seriousness, as the most gifted. Even someone as thick-skinned as me felt a little embarrassed, since I'd literally spent the whole day playing a game. But then again, cheating counts as a kind of talent too, right? The most gifted. Dad set down his chopsticks, his expression serious. Hongyu, explain properly. He knew Yi Hongyu. Upright, calls it like she sees it, never lies to flatter his superior. Words alone won't prove it. Yi Hongyu pulled out her phone. This is a video I recorded this afternoon in the gloomy, dense forest. Watch it and you'll understand. She opened it and turned the screen toward my parents. The video was only a dozen odd seconds long. The dining room fell dead silent, and only the slightly awkward sound of my chewing rang out, jarringly loud. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught my parents' expressions, and my toes were curling furiously inside my shoes. I could have practically clawed out a 3-bedroom apartment right there in the floor. Social death, utter social death. Not because it showed off my power, but because of that line I'd shouted at my phone in the video, a public execution. Sissy. Fine, you record it, but couldn't you have given me a heads up first? It took a long while before Lin Tianhao found his voice, and the hands that had wielded battle sabers and slain countless enemies were actually trembling slightly. That fireball just now, was that second-stage mental energy guidance? And Mo was even splitting his attention, playing a game. As one of Zhanghai City's top combatants, he understood all too well what that meant. An ordinary mage has to give a skill their full concentration. Even a genius blaze mage who wants to make a fireball turn has to lock his eyes on the target and pour all his mental energy into guiding it. But his son was controlling a fireball while playing a game, and controlling it this precisely. This level of micro is something you couldn't find more than a handful of among the entire Dragon Nation's generation. My son is no mediocrity. My son has the bearing of a great emperor. Is that really Mo? Suwon covered her mouth, her eyes reddening. No elemental affinity, and he's bending the projectile by sheer force? What a terrifying talent that takes. Under my parents' scorching gazes, I sighed inwardly. Fine, a genius it is. I can hardly tell them my fireball came to life. Who'd believe it if I said it out loud? I pretended to choke a little and took a sip of soup, mumbling, cough. I was just playing around. The thing is, that ranked game was crucial. It was a promo match. No time to look up at the monsters. I could only throw by feel. Dad, Mom, stop staring at me like that. It's embarrassing. Just playing around, he says. By feel, he says. Dad slapped his thigh hard. What did I tell you? How could a child of Lin Tianhao's blood ever be a good-for-nothing? The couple exchanged a look, each seeing the wild joy in the other's eyes. They'd been discussing whether to have their son fake an illness and skip the exam to dodge the gossip. Now, fake an illness? Out of the question. For someone with this kind of miraculous micro to hole up at home as an idle heir would be a criminal waste. So what if the Zhao family's son had S-rank fire affinity? At low levels, when skills were roughly comparable, his micro wasn't necessarily a match for their MOers. Suwon got to the point. MOer, the grand exam is coming up soon. If you want into a top academy, to be safe you need to push at least to LV.10 and learn a second basic skill. She looked solemnly at Yi Hongyu. Over the next 2 days, take MOer and grind levels with everything you've got. He absolutely must reach LV.10 before the exam. Yes, madam. Yi Hongyu snapped to attention to accept the order, fighting spirit igniting in her eyes. I nodded and didn't refuse. Sure, I'll work at it. In truth, whether I went to the exam or what college I got into really didn't matter to me. Little Fireball would go out and grind on its own anyway, and lying around anywhere is lying around. The beds at home were comfortable, but being right under my parents' noses was a bit restrictive. A college dorm has no one to keep tabs on you. With enough strength, I could sleep all day and nobody would care, and a top academy's housing wouldn't be any worse than home. The key thing was, if I really could pull off a good score, seeing these two glowing with pride and vindication actually seemed pretty nice. In this life, this pair of parents doted on me to the bone. Earning them a little face counts as filial piety. You should think about the second skill too. Suwon rattled off like a connoisseur. We've got basic skill books for every element. Water element, water arrow. Earth element, earth shield. Wind element, wind blade. Wood element, healing. Even the rare lightning element, lightning strike. Which would you like to learn? Dad offered some advice. Son, here's my suggestion. Your fireball aim is unbeatable, but mages are squishy. What they fear most is being closed in on by an assassin or focused down at range. For your second skill, pick Earth Element Earth Shield, the highest defense among the basic skills. Learning it is like putting on an extra turtle shell. It'll save your life in a pinch. As long as you're alive, you've got damage to deal. Suwon nodded. Your dad's got a point this time. Safety first. Don't worry about how many enemies you kill. Just make sure you don't get hurt. I rubbed my chin in thought. Self-preservation does matter. But what I'm most curious about right now is whether the new skill will get personified too. And if so, what'll it be like? Please don't let it be a hothead like Little Fireball. One of those is plenty. A second one, and my head would explode. Fireball lets out a satisfied belch. Burps so good. That fire dragon liver was excellent. I'm bursting with energy. Slaughter. I need slaughter. I feel one step closer to becoming a forbidden spell. Ignoring this glutton, I looked up at my parents. All right, I'll go with Dad's call. Second skill, tentatively Earth Element. An extra shell means an extra bit of security. Staying alive is what counts. I want to live a good few more years so I can keep freeloading off you too. Dad laughed heartily, paying no mind to that lazy talk. Good. Make your own call. With the goals set, the leveling can't stop. He flipped his wrist, and an ancient, plain scroll glowing with a purplish-black light came to rest solemnly on the table. This is the dungeon scroll for the hard difficulty, a ghost castle. I'd meant to give it to you in a few days, but you're leveling so fast, and you've got that micro talent, so you can use it tonight. The dungeon is LV.35. Hongyu's level is over the cap, so she can't go in with you, but I've already lined up a team for you. A team? I blurted out reflexively. I know your micro talent is strong, but whatever you do, don't get cocky. Dad spoke with earnest weight. The monsters in a hard dungeon are nothing like the small fry out in the wild. You only get one life. Your dad doesn't want to see you come to any harm, not even a scratch. Dad, I understand. A cautious ship sails 10,000 years. I nodded seriously. In truth, I didn't mind having a team either. Little Fireball was fierce, but I'd never been in a dungeon. For a first time, it was better to play it safe. Dad would never steer me wrong. Hongyu, go to the underground vault and pick out the best mage set the young master can wear at his current stage. Yes, Commander. Yi Hongyu strode off briskly. Just then, the old butler hurried in and bowed. Master, Madam, Miss Xia and the others have arrived. Their car is parked outside. Lin Tianhao checked the time and laughed. Ah, speak of them, and here they are. These youngsters are quite punctual. Lin family villa. A few young people stood there looking a little stiff, clearly overawed by the estate's sheer opulence. Dad strode out in front, with Mom on my arm right behind him. Haha, welcome, welcome. Don't be shy. Make yourselves at home. Leading them was a girl in a pale blue mage robe, cool and ethereal, with a refined, noble air and a keep your distance chill in her eyes. Behind her were two young men and a young woman. A tall, lean fellow with a longbow on his back, a burly man carrying a giant shield, and a timid little priestess with twin ponytails. Hello, Uncle Lin. Hello, Auntie Sue. The cool girl gave a slight nod. Io, this must be the Xia family's daughter. Mom let go of me, gently stepped forward, and took her hand. Prettier every time I see you. I hear from your dad you awakened as an A-rank affinity water mage. That's wonderful. You flatter me, Auntie. The girl was neither obsequious nor aloof. Dad introduced her to me. This is Xia Qingyue, your captain for this run, a powerful water mage. Hello, Lin Mo. Xia Qingyue extended her hand. Hello, Miss Campus Belle. I shook it politely. I'd heard plenty about her. The cold, aloof campus belle of neighboring number 1 high school, with a line of admirers said to stretch from the south end of the city to the north. But there wasn't a ripple in my heart. I never went out of my way to chase the cold and aloof type. Too much work. We were just teaming up for a dungeon today. Seeing my clear, unbothered gaze, I hadn't sized her up the way other boys did. Xia Qingyue actually warmed to me a little. She turned to introduce her teammates. Wang Ming, frontline shield warrior, Takes the damage. Zhang Kai, Ranger, ranged physical damage. Lu Weiwei, Light Priest, healing, and buffs. The four of us are all LV.4, well-equipped and well-coordinated. Clearing this dungeon shouldn't be a problem. Dad added with a smile. Don't worry, Amor. These kids' fathers are all old subordinates of mine in the army. I know them inside and out. They've had formal military-style combat training from a young age. Their combat skill and instincts are far beyond what ordinary students can manage. Got it, Dad. Thanks for the trouble, everyone. I turned and gave a polite nod. Just then, young master, I've brought the equipment. Yi Hongyu walked out carrying a heap of gear glowing with an orange halo. The four young people's eyes went wide. That's the legendary grade Purple Cloud set. A god-tier set for sub-LV.5 mages. Zhang Kai, the one with the longbow, swallowed hard. Even the expressionless Xia Qingyue let a flicker of astonishment cross her beautiful eyes. So this is the deep reserve of a top noble house. Equipment came in 6 grades: bronze, silver, gold, diamond, legendary, mythic. Handing a blank slate mage who'd awakened just 2 days ago a legendary set like this as a stopgap, it was an outright criminal waste. I didn't feel much about it. With Yi Hongyu's help, I put it all on without lifting a finger. Nice fit. Thanks, Sissy. The flowing radiant robe dissolved into specks of starlight and sank into my body, my appearance reverting to casual clothes. All equipment in this world had this function, outside of combat, or unless you activated it, the appearance auto-hid so it wouldn't interfere with daily life. I opened my status panel and glanced at the stats, and sucked in a cold breath. Too brutal. This set had no fancy modifiers. It went for the simple and savage route. Cooldown reduction. Robe 10%, boots 10%, necklace 15%, plus the set activation bonus, for a total CD reduction of a staggering 60%. My fireball, which originally had a 3-second cooldown, could now blast off one every 1.2 seconds. Multi-burst fireball's 15-second CD got slashed straight down to 6. Truly top-tier gear, amazing. Zhang Kai and Wang Ming exchanged a glance, and inside they were absolutely seething with envy. So this is the fine art of being born to the right parents? Some people are born in Rome. Put this gear on a blank slate mage, and what's it good for besides looking nice? These subtle shifts in expression didn't escape Dad's eyes. A war god who'd carved his way out of mountains of corpses and seas of blood had insight into human nature down to the bone. He saw Zhang Kai's jealousy, Wang Ming's envy, and the contempt they harbored toward me beneath the surface. The smile at the corners of Dad's mouth faded slightly, a flash of cold severity in his eyes, and he pulled me aside and lowered his voice. Son, remember this. We provided the dungeon scroll, and we paid them a good sum too. You're the boss, they're the hired help. He pressed a big hand on my shoulder. In this world, whether it's outside the city walls or inside a dungeon, it's all a death ground where people die. Human nature doesn't hold up under pressure. Under extreme danger, people instinctively save themselves first, and they might even develop ideas they shouldn't over your gear out of envy. He glanced back at the four of them, his voice rising without him realizing it. Once you're in the dungeon, if anyone dares boss you around or take snide jabs that leave you wronged, come tell your dad, and your dad will go rip their mouths off. Even though those four were the children of old subordinates, human nature couldn't be trusted. Only by making their fear of Dad outweigh their fear of the monsters would I be absolutely safe. Got it, Dad. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why was this turning into some mob scene? Dad turned to Yi Hongyu again. Hongyu, once you've delivered them to the dungeon entrance, stand guard outside. If anyone disrespects a Mo-er on the way, you may handle it as you see fit. Understood. A cold glint flashed in Yi Hongyu's eyes, her gaze raking icily over Zhang Kai and the others. Zhang Kai and Wang Ming felt a chill run down the backs of their necks, and even Xia Qingyue's expression tightened. All right, Sissy, don't go scaring people. I waved her off and led the way out. Let's go, everyone, don't want to waste time. Yes, young Master Lin. Zhang Kai and Wang Ming took a quick step to fall in behind me, looking for all the world like 2 loyal henchmen. On either side of the villa, 2 rows of maids bowed in unison at a perfect 90 degrees. Safe travels, young master. May you win your first battle. That crisp, sweet chorus startled the four of them. So this is what a noble house is like. This kind of pomp is terrifying. En route to the wilderness, inside the vehicle. The mood in the vehicle was a bit stifling. Faced with a noble family young master practically dripping with the superpower of cash, plus the bloodthirsty she-demon of a driver up front. These young people just couldn't loosen up. Zhang Kai tried to lighten the mood and forced out an ingratiating smile. So, young Master Lin, the dungeon we're heading to is hard difficulty, and the monsters are vicious. Nothing like those dopey little mobs out in the wild. I was sipping a cola and nodded casually. And he got a little bolder. The four of us have coordinated for a long time. Our tactical system is fairly precise, and you're just a blank slot. An all-around mage. Your aim might be a touch off and could throw off our rhythm. He paused. So, once we're in the dungeon, how about you stand at the very back? Leave the dirty work to us. Just treat it like a vacation. Even if you don't lift a finger, that's the biggest contribution you could make to the team. The air in the vehicle instantly froze. Xia Qinghua frowned, feeling he'd said too much. Put nicely, it was concern for safety. Put bluntly, wasn't it just calling Lin Mo dead weight and telling him not to get in the way? Before I could say anything, screech. The speeding vehicle slammed to a sudden stop. The huge momentum sent Zhang Kai's head smacking into the seat back in front of him. Ow, he cried out, clutching his nose. When he looked up, he met a pair of bone-chillingly cold eyes in the rearview mirror. Yi Hongyu steered one-handed, staring at him through the mirror. If I heard you correctly, you're saying our young master is too weak, unworthy of fighting alongside you? Or are you telling the young master how to do things? The vehicle went dead silent. Yi Hongyu's elite presence was simply more than a few students who'd never set foot outside school could bear. I know. Sis, I didn't mean that. Zhang Kai went sheet white, unable to even string his words together, and actually raised a hand and slapped himself. Young Master Lin, please don't take offense. I just have a slip of the tongue. Treat what I said as a fart and let it pass. Wang Meng and Lu Weiwei shrank into a corner, not daring to breathe. The timid Lu Weiwei's little face went deathly pale, terrified she'd be the next one called out. Even the usually composed Xia Qinghua had sweat beading in her palms. She realized that before this seemingly kindly noble young master, a single careless word could invite consequences beyond anyone's reckoning. I was speechless too. How did I become the big villain here? And the kind who gets taken out by the protagonist in the early chapters, no less. Xia Qinghua drew a deep breath and smoothed things over. Sis Hongyu, Zhang Kai really does have a clumsy tongue, but he meant no harm. He was simply worried about Lin Mo's safety. Please don't hold it against him. All right, Sis Yi, just drive, don't scare them. I waved a hand. He really did mean well. Only then did Yi Hongyu rein in her killing intent, gave a cold snort, and stepped on the gas again. Zhang Kai slumped into his seat, his back already soaked through with cold sweat, silently swearing not to say one more word for the rest of the trip. And right then, little Fireball got worked up too. Fireball roars, I can't stand it. That punk dared call you weak. Dared say your aim's no good? Who the hell does he think he is? I killed more monsters yesterday than he's seen in his whole life. This doesn't just insult you. It insults this lord. Just give me the nod and I'll fly out there right now. I guarantee they won't even find his ashes. My head throbbed, and I hurriedly clamped down on this volatile maniac in my mind. Little Fire, calm down. The guy just had a slip of the tongue. Is that really worth screaming for blood over? Fireball is beside itself with rage. How is it not worth it? The strong must not be insulted. Burn him. He has to burn. Helpless, I spoke with earnest weight. Little Fire, as a person, as a skill, you've got to have some perspective. If we go around killing people over one unpleasant remark, what does that make us? Bloodthirsty maniacs? Big villains? Power is for protecting yourself and the people you care about, not for bullying teammates. As long as we're strong enough, the facts will shut him up on their own. No need to turn murderous over a little spat. It's beneath us, and it's got no bottom line. Fireball, TCH, hypocritical human did. Grumbling, but at least it quiets down. Humph, fine, I'll spare his dog life. Once we're in the dungeon, this lord will properly demonstrate what damage looks like, blind their dog eyes. Now that's more like it. I gave a small smile. Wilderness, dungeon entrance. About an hour later, the vehicle stopped on a desolate field of scattered rocks. The wind was biting and cold, but to Zhang Kai and the others, fresh off Yi Hongyu's death glare, this cold wind felt downright friendly. Yi Hongyu came around the front of the vehicle and respectfully opened my door, then took out that plain old scroll. Coordinates confirmed. The scroll burned away, hum. The air ahead shook violently, and a rift of purple light tore open in space. This was the dungeon entrance. She turned to look at me. Young master, this is a trained team, but conditions inside a dungeon are unpredictable. Be careful with everything. If you run into danger, don't try to be a hero. Staying alive comes first. Don't worry, Sisyi. I'll take care of myself. I nodded. Her gaze swept over Xia Qingwei and the other three again, her voice icy. You four, listen carefully. You took the Lin family's money and accepted the Lin family's job, so you'll lay your lives on the line to protect the young master. When you come out, if the young master is missing so much as a patch of skin. Yes. Don't worry, Sisyi. We'll protect young Master Lin with our lives. Zhang Kai and Wang Ming nodded like chickens pecking at grain. Even the cold, aloof Xia Qingyuan nodded earnestly. Please rest assured. As captain, I'm responsible for my members' safety. Go then. Yi Hongyu waved a hand. Outside the dungeon, rock field. The five figures vanished completely into the rift. On the desolate rock field, only the howling cold wind remained. Yi Hongyu leaned against the front of the vehicle, lit a cigarette, and looked up above the rift, where the historical clear record leaderboard for the hard difficulty Ghost Castle was displayed. Top record, 1 hour 15 minutes 23 seconds held by Mei Yixuan, Chunjin, Lu Shu. 18 years ago, 1 hour 15 minutes. She stared at the number, murmuring to herself. This record was like an insurmountable mountain, standing before every sub-LV.5 rookie in the Dragon Nation for a full 18 years. A miracle created by the most dazzling geniuses of that year working together, unbroken by anyone to this day. If it were the young master. A glint flashed in Yi Hongyu's eyes. That terrifying micro, that command over his skill as if it were an extension of his own arm. He truly had the credentials to challenge the record. The young master's personal strength would make him the absolute core damage dealer in any year's class. But the next second she shook her head. A shame. A record like this is never something one person can break. She blew out a smoke ring. The Xia girl is an A-rank water mage with solid fundamentals, and those two boys aren't bad either, well equipped. But that's all, just not bad. In her eyes, having witnessed the young master's monstrous play, this team's makeup simply wasn't worthy of him. Clearing it is no problem, but if they want to break the record, these kids will probably just end up being dead weight dragging the young master down. She flicked off the ash and stopped thinking about that unreachable number. Her task right now was simple. Stand guard here and wait for the young master to return in triumph. Inside the dungeon, castle corridor. After a bout of dizzying disorientation, I opened my eyes. A grim, gloomy castle corridor. Blackened bluestone brick walls crawling with withered vines and rank, foul moss, the air rotten and damp. Every few meters on either side hung a ghastly skull lantern, its wick burning with eerie blue ghost fire. This dungeon's a little spooky, I quipped. Right on cue, little Fireball perked up. Fireball, and this calls itself fire? All cold and blue. This is a desecration of the dignity of flame, it's heresy. This lord is the orthodox fire element. I am light. I am heat. These trash impersonating fire make me sick. Status, wrathful purifier, sworn to burn away all fake fire here. Damage to undead-type monsters plus 100%. My mouth twitched. Good grief, even this sets it off? You racist little thing. You'd wipe out any fire whose color you don't like? But there's something I still haven't figured out. How does it keep slapping a damage boost buff on itself at the drop of a hat? Thinking about it, it was probably a lot like the protagonists in those hot-blooded anime from my past life. Yell loud enough, get emotional enough, and your damage doubles. Up ahead, Xia Qingwei had already snapped into combat stance. She tapped her staff on the ground, and a halo of water blue light spread out, dispelling some of the gloomy chill. Stay sharp. This is a hard difficulty dungeon. Whether it's stats or combat skills, the monsters here are in a completely different class from same-level monsters in the wild. She scanned everyone and set the formation. Take positions. Wang Ming up front with the shield. Hold aggro. Do not let a single monster break the line. Yes. Wang Ming slammed his tower shield against the ground. Zhang Kai, my left flank, range damage and scouting. Watch the ceiling and the shadowy corners. Wei Wei, center, ready to shield Wang Ming and heal at all times. Finally, she looked at me. Young Master Lin, you stand in the middle of the group. Then she added with emphasis to Zhang Kai. If a monster ambushes from behind, you support Lin Mo first. Don't worry, Captain. As long as I've got a breath in me, I won't let young Master Lin lose a single drop of sweat. Zhang Kai thumped his chest. Sure, I'll just hang in the back and cheer you all on. I didn't care about her arrangement. Instead, I pulled out the fire element snacks I'd casually grabbed from home. Fireball sneers. Letting this pack of scrubs protect this lord? What a colossal joke. I couldn't be bothered to respond. This skill really did have a motor mouth. The team advanced slowly. The castle was eerily quiet, with only the heavy footsteps echoing. Creak. A faint sound came from the corner ahead, like bone grinding against bone. Stop. Xia Qinghua barked in a low voice, her staff lighting up. Something's coming. In the darkness, two clusters of eerie blue flames slowly surfaced, and by the faint light, everyone made it out. Nether Spirit Cat, Elite, LV.5. It was called a cat, but it was about the size of a leopard, not an ounce of flesh on it. Only stark white bone, with weird blue fire burning in the gaps between the bones, its eyes fixed dead on the group. High agility monster. And the very first one's an elite. Xia Qingyue's expression shifted. Wang Ming, raise your shield. It's too fast, hard to hit at range. Wait until it pounces, then strike. Don't waste mental energy. Before she'd finished, whoosh. An orange-red light flared up without warning from the very back of the group, and a fist-sized fireball, carrying an unstoppable, hot-headed fury, screamed past right beside Xia Qingyue's and Zhang Kai's ears. Young Master Lin, wait till it's closer to fire. You can't hit it from this far. Zhang Kai shouted reflexively. Just as the fireball was about to connect, the spirit cat suddenly flickered to the left, and the fireball grazed past it. I missed, just like I thought. Zhang Kai sighed. But the next second, the fireball that had already flown by came to a violent halt in midair, as if seized by an invisible giant hand. Fireball grinned savagely. Dodge? Dodge this. Whoosh. The fireball whipped around and smashed viciously into the spirit cat's flank. Mio. The spirit cat let out a shrill, agonized screech, blasted tumbling across the ground. That it turned. Both Zhang Kai and Xia Qinghua froze. Before they could recover, another fireball came screaming past them. Thanks to the Purple Cloud set's 60% CD reduction, Fireball's cooldown was cut from 3 seconds to 1.2. The instant the first one exploded, the second was already out of the chamber, immediately followed by a third. The spirit cat desperately tried to dodge, but it was all in vain. Boom, boom. As the flames dispersed, the LV.5 elite monster had been blasted into shards of bone. Zhang Kai and Xia Qingyue's eyes went wide as they stared at the pile of bone fragments, then whipped their heads around in unison to look at me. It's dead. Zhang Kai's voice came out dry. 3, just 3 fireballs. Xia Qingyue's cool eyes were full of disbelief. As an A-rank water mage and a top student with perfect marks in theory, she understood better than anyone what this meant. Normally, even an S-rank fire affinity blaze mage needed at least 6 fireballs to kill a full HP LV.5 elite. This blank slate mage did it in 3. And even more terrifying was the micro, the precision in predicting the impact point, the control to halt midair and then accelerate again. Could a blank slate who'd awakened only 2 days ago really do this? Micro at this level was something not even the top fire mage students at the annual grand exam could manage. Nonchalantly, I dug a red nut out of my snack bag and tossed it into my mouth, the crisp crunching echoing down the corridor, then grabbed a few more and held them out. Want some? They're pretty spicy. That. Only then did everyone snap to it. Young Master Lin had just been munching snacks while pulling off that absurd micro. No thanks. Zhang Kai said dryly. Oh, suit yourself. I withdrew my hand. Fireball snorts coldly. T-Seach, scared dumb already? Just basic stuff. Wait till I pull out a sky-covering rain of fire. Won't that make you wet yourselves? What's everyone standing around for? I swallowed the nut and clapped my hands. Let's move. This dump is creepy, and I'd like to clear it and get home to sleep sooner rather than later. Everyone snapped out of their daze. Zhang Kai gave a shiver, all his earlier contempt long gone. Young Master Lin's right. Young Master Lin is incredible. What did I say? One look and you can tell young Master Lin's hiding deep talent. Those 3 fireballs just now. TSK, pure art. Wang Ming scratched his head and chimed in with his own clumsy flattery. Xiaoqing Yue's expression was complicated. I'd thought this team-up would be a grueling trek babysitting a deadweight, and I'd even prepared to rescue Lin Mo at any moment. Now, it's not at all clear who the deadweight is. This seemingly lazy Lin family young master was not some idle heir coasting through life. He was a monster in sheep's clothing. Adjust and keep moving forward. She quickly steadied herself. Since young Master Lin has this much firepower, we can be more aggressive with tactics. Wang Ming, lead the way, pick up the pace. You got it. With newfound confidence, Wang Ming let out a roar. Just then, Lu Weiwei, who'd had no presence this whole time, suddenly went sheet white and pointed ahead. Monsters, so many monsters. Everyone looked where she pointed. Where that elite spirit cat had appeared, countless pairs of eerie blue eyes were now lighting up, densely packed. 1 pair, 2 pairs, dozens of pairs. Nether spirit cat, LV.5, all of them. A size smaller than the elite, just normal grade. But there were far too many. Don't panic, it's just a pack of normal grade nether spirit cats. Aside from numbers, their stats are nowhere near that elite from before. Xia Qingwei was cool and composed, swiftly giving orders. Wang Ming, use immovable as a mountain and hold the front to the death. Zhang Kai, suppress the left with arrow rain. Don't let them flank. Weiwei, shield Wang Ming and ready a group heal. Everyone back against the wall, tighten the defensive circle, and we'll clear them bit by. She hadn't even finished laying out the tactics. Whoosh. That familiar wave of heat screamed out from behind her again, and an orange-red fireball charged straight at the dozens of spirit cats. Young Master Lin, Xia Qingyue cried out in alarm. This young master was far too rash. Rashly pulling a pack of dozens of high-agility monsters could enrage them all at once and trigger a stampede. This is reckless. The next second, everyone's eyes went wide. That fireball gave a violent shudder and split, in an instant, into a dozen or more, like a small meteor shower of fire raining down over the cat pack. That's multi-burst fireball. Isn't that a low intermediate tier fire skill? The top student Xia Qingwei recognized it at once. Boom, 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 boom. Over a dozen fireballs slammed into the cat pack, violent explosions resounding through the castle, flames shooting skyward. Nether spirit cat killed, EXP plus 40. Nether spirit cat killed, EXP plus 40. Fireball cackles wildly, huh? How's that for multi-burst fireball? Scared you, didn't it? This lord just comprehended it yesterday. Don't just stand there, hurry. Xia Qingwei shouted. Help young Master Lin clear them. Don't give them room to breathe. Wang Ming, mop up the ones that slip through. Zhang Kai, pick off the low HP ones. In truth, they hardly needed to help, because my offensive never let up. A powerful AoE like that should have had a long cooldown. But with the 60% CD reduction, just 6 seconds. Whoosh. The second fireball was out of the chamber, splitting into a dozen plus again and blanketing them. Under that terrifying firepower, in under half a minute the battle was over. Xia Qingwei stared blankly at the heaps of bone fragments ahead. Dozens of same-level monsters. In my original plan, this would have taken at least 10 minutes of careful kiting with the whole team coordinating. And now, in under half a minute, the world is quiet again. Incredible, incredible, young Master Lin. Zhang Kai managed dryly. Once more, everyone's eyes landed in unison on me, munching my snacks. I felt a little awkward under the stairs. I just eat my snacks and enjoy the show. Little fire did all of it. What's it got to do with me? Inside the dungeon, castle corridor. Young Master Lin. That one just now was the low intermediate fire skill multi-burst fireball, right? Xia Qingwei couldn't help asking. I tossed the last pine nut into my mouth and clapped my hands. Yep, that's right. It involves the techniques of elemental fission and secondary detonation. Xia Qingyue's gaze was complicated. She drew a deep breath and probed. Young Master Lin, forgive my forwardness, but to learn this one skill, how many skill books did you eat in total? In her view, for a blank slate with no affinity, learning an advanced elemental skill was as hard as scaling the heavens. Even a fire specialist mage usually had to consume a certain number of skill books to aid comprehension. This young Master Lin had probably eaten dozens, even over 100. So this is the deep reserve of a noble house. Skill books were extremely expensive. After all, even a low intermediate one started in the six figures. Young Master Lin, if you'd rather not answer, just pretend I didn't ask. Skill books. I scratched my head, looking blank. That stuff. I've never seen one. Question mark. Xia Qingwei went stiff. You mean you didn't use any skill books at all? Right. I shrugged as if it were obvious. Isn't it just splitting once and then exploding again? Is that hard? The words had barely left my mouth when the skill panel shook violently. Fireball can't take it anymore. Is that hard? It's not hard for this lord. It was me who comprehended it on the plains last night, fighting for my life. What were you doing at the time? Sleeping. Stealing the fruits of this lord's labor. Doesn't your conscience hurt? I kept a straight face and silently replied in my mind. Shut it. Do you still want tonight's stir-fried crimson flame fire dragon? Fireball instantly clams up. Status: swallowing humiliation to bear a heavy burden. Damage plus 100%. Seeing it settle down, I felt a wave of satisfaction. Putting on a front now and then is actually pretty nice. Xia Qingwei opened her mouth, not knowing what to say. Comprehending a skill on one's own was extremely difficult even for an S-rank affinity caster. Yet this young Master Lin, a blank slate, had comprehended it on his second day after awakening. No, judging by this proficiency, he'd very likely comprehended it on the first day. Talent like this was terrifying beyond words. It's definitely talent. Unquestionably top-tier talent. Zhang Kai suddenly leapt up, red in the face and straining his neck. Captain, think about it. Someone who learns it by force-feeding skill books, even an S-rank affinity fire mage, can split maybe 3 to 5 at the start. But young Master Lin just now, a full 15. That means his understanding of this skill has already reached the realm of perfection, something you could never stack up to with skill books. This is clearly an unprecedented, supreme genius. Those S-rank affinity types can all go home and raise pigs. Xia Qingwei felt a wave of self-consciousness. If S-ranks go home to raise pigs, then what about an A-rank like me? Go home and play in the mud? Wang Ming and Lu Weiwei, hearing it, also snapped out of their daze, looking at me as though gazing at a walking god. I felt my scalp prickle under the barrage of over-the-top flattery. I have to admit, Zhang Kai makes a pretty qualified lackey. Ahem. All right, keep it low-key. It's not that big a deal, I just got lucky. Let's hurry, clear it sooner so I can get home and sleep sooner. Xia Qingwei came back to herself, the respect in her eyes deepening a few degrees. Extraordinary talent, and yet so humble, wanting nothing but to sleep. This is the bearing of a true master. Everyone, do as young Master Lin says, keep moving forward. Hold formation, and since young Master Lin is going all out, full speed ahead. Outside the dungeon, rock field. Yihong Yu leaned against the front of the vehicle, 5 or 6 cigarette butts already tossed at her feet. Half an hour. She checked her watch, brows knitting slightly. She had faith in the young master's micro, but in a hard dungeon, even an elite squad would, at most, finish clearing the outer ring in half an hour. She was about to blow another smoke ring. A tremor rose from deep underground, and immediately after, an intensely oppressive, evil aura instantly blanketed the entire rock field. Yihong Yu's expression changed sharply and she jerked her head up. The dungeon entrance, once purple light, was now churning with an inky, unresolvable blackness, like the eye of a hellish demon slowly opening. This abyssification, how is that possible? For the first time, an expression of terror crossed her ever-cold face. As a seasoned soldier, she understood all too well what this meant. Dungeons came in 2 types: fixed dungeons, stable and safe, and the temporary dungeons opened by random dungeon scrolls, which had an extremely low chance of being corrupted and mutated by the aura of the other dimensional abyss, 1 in 100,000, or even lower. Jianghai City had gone a full 8 years without a single case of dungeon abyssification. This is bad. The young master's in danger. She crushed out her cigarette and pulled out her phone to call Lin Tianhao. If abyssification only made the monsters stronger, there was still a sliver of hope. The most terrifying part was this. In a normal dungeon, crushing the return scroll you carried would forcibly extract you to safety, which was exactly why she dared let the young master go in. She'd given him several return scrolls when he got in the car. But once a dungeon abyssified, return scrolls stopped working. To come out alive, there was only one path: slay the final boss and complete the clear. 2 rings, and it connected. Hello? Hong Yu, has MOR cleared it? That's pretty fast. Commander, something's wrong, she said at breakneck speed. The young master's dungeon. It's abyssified and mutated. On the other end, a teacup shattered with a crack, followed immediately by Lin Tianhao's roar. You wait there. I'm coming right now. Inside the dungeon, deep in the castle, the corridor was undergoing an even more sinister change. The smell of rot and damp gradually faded, and a long-fermented, sweet-rank stench of blood spread out. The skull lantern's flames jumped violently, shifting from eerie blue to dark purple. Something's wrong. Xia Qingwei, walking at the very front, abruptly halted, staring hard at the churning mist ahead and scanning all around. At last, she forced out one phrase. It's abyssified. The other's expressions froze instantly. Abyssified. Zhang Kai fumbled out his return scroll. A faint light dispersed, with no reaction whatsoever. The return scroll isn't responding. It's really abyssified. His voice trembled, his eyes hollow with despair. Despair spread through the team. Lu Weiwei covered her mouth and started to cry, and even the burly Wang Meng's hands shook non-stop on his shield. Young Master Lin, what do we do now? Zhang Kai looked at me with a sob in his voice. Before entering the dungeon, the others might still have looked down on me as a noble family burden, but after a whole stretch of relentless bombardment, I had quietly replaced Xia Qingwei as the team's anchor. I looked at the pitch-black path ahead, speechless inside. 18 years, and I finally get a cheat code, and the moment I step out I hit the 1 in 100,000? My luck is really something. An abyss dungeon. You'd need a whole squad of top elites to have any hope of clearing one. Fireball is greedily gulping down the abyssal aura in the air. It trembles all over with excitement. This flavor of savagery, destruction, corruption, it's exquisite. Ha ha ha. This is what deserves to be called a dungeon. Everything before was kids' play. This lord feels the blood boiling within. It's the call from hell. Current mood: extreme frenzy. Damage to abyss-type monsters plus 200%. This thing gets stronger against stronger foes, huh? But even with a plus 200%, that didn't guarantee we could beat the abyss boss. I brushed off the snack crumbs. All right, everyone, drop the funeral faces. There's no way back, so the only way is forward. Young Master Lin's right. Xia Qingwei drew a deep breath, gripped her staff again, her eyes resolute. Crying won't help. All we can do is fight. Everyone, listen up, tighten formation, protect young Master Lin, and we cut our way in. The road that followed could only be called brutal. The abyssified monsters' stats had spiked, and their bloodlust was insane. Fortunately, with the purple cloud set's monstrous CD reduction, plus little fireballs, abyss plus 200% buff, the team pushed all the way to the deepest point without serious mishap. I reached LV.6, and the others all hit LV.5. Before a black colossal door, 10 meters high. We're here. Xia Qingyue's voice was hoarse. The boss is inside. Rumble, rumble. The giant door swung open to both sides on its own, and a terrifying pressure surged out. In the center of the hall, atop a throne built of white bones, sat a horrifying figure. Abyss Skeletal Knight, boss, LV.5. Battered black heavy armor. No face beneath the helmet. Only 2 flickering clusters of purple soul fire. A 2-meter greatsword in hand, mounted on a skeletal warhorse burning with nether fire. Intruders. Roar. A hoarse, furious bellow echoed, and a wave of killing intent rolled in. From a single glance, Zhang Kai and Lu Weiwei could barely breathe and nearly lost the courage to lift their weapons. Even the steady Wang Meng's hands shook violently on his shield. Though it was only a LV.5 boss, That terrifying abyssal aura was countless times more dreadful than any monster they'd faced. Fireball is extremely excited. Now this is a real opponent. Let this lord go pay it a visit. Don't be afraid. It's only LV.5. With young Master Lin here, we're not without a chance. Xia Qinghua forced down her fear and swept her staff. Wang Ming, get up there. Young Master Lin, get ready. She hadn't even finished, and I didn't even need to raise my hand. Whoosh. An orange-red afterimage shot straight past the group, charging right at the skeletal knight on the throne. Boom. A deafening blast erupted in the hall. With the Abyss plus 200% bonus, this shot was astonishingly powerful. It hit. Joy flashed across Zhang Kai's face. The next second, his smile froze on his face. As the smoke cleared, the knight still sat on its throne, not even its posture changed. A half-transparent shield of churning, eerie purple light shrouded its body, glowing cold. That strike just now hadn't blasted out so much as a single crack. Fireball is stunned. No defense break? That was this lord's rage strike with a plus 200%. This is unscientific. Roar. The knight slowly raised its head, mockery showing in the two clusters of soul fire, then vaulted onto its horse, dug in its heels, and charged the group trailing blue nether fire, the ground quaking. Careful. Wang Ming, block it. Xia Qinghua cried urgently. I'll go down with you. Immovable as a mountain, Wang Ming's eyes went bloodshot as he slammed his tower shield into a crack in the floor, an earthen yellow light flaring across his whole body. The next moment, that 2-meter greatsword crashed down hard on the shield. Clang! Wang Ming was sent flying, shield and all, spewing a huge mouthful of blood in midair before smashing hard into a wall a dozen-odd meters away. Wang Ming! Lu Weiwei screamed and rushed over. How can this be? Even a fireball with young Master Lin's power can't dent it. Zhang Kai's face turned ashen. I stood in the middle of the group, not too alarmed, just slightly frowning. This is a bit of a hassle. Little fire, don't stop. Blast it back. Don't let it get close. Fireball roars. Didn't need you to tell me. I'm not done with it. Boom, boom, boom. Flames shot skyward in the hall. Explosions ceaseless. Fireball and multi-burst fireball took turns bombarding, driving the knight back step by step. But the moment the flames dispersed, that purple shield was still intact. My eyes darkened slightly. Looks like this boss can't be killed without breaking that shield. Fireball has stopped its cursing, staring hard at that shield. It sinks into thought. Why? Why won't it shatter? Status. In deep thought, it seems it's about to grow a brain. About to have a breakthrough? I raised an eyebrow. Inside the dungeon boss hall, roar, the continuous bombardment filled the skeletal knight with enormous humiliation. Those two clusters of purple soul fire swept past the group and locked onto me. It realized that among these ants, only this youth was the real threat. Kill him, and the maddening flames would vanish. No. Xia Qinghua suddenly dashed in front of me, a flash of resolve in her eyes. She was the captain, the one in charge of this mission, the one who'd taken the Lin family's money. Even in death, she could not let her employer die before her. She turned her head, that cool, dust-streaked face full of determination. Young Master Lin, run, I'll hold it off with my life. Wang Ming too raised his shield to block in front of me. Young Master Lin, I'll hold it. You run. Looking at these two teammates ready to heroically lay down their lives, I sighed helplessly and kicked Wang Ming in the rear. Are you two out of your minds? Run? Run where? Find a place to hide, and what? Hide until you starve to death. Xia Qinghua froze, thrown by my sudden scolding. My eyes hardened as I looked at the arrogant skeletal knight. We take it down and walk out of here in style. If we can't break the shield in one shot, then 10, 100, kill it. Xia Qinghua startled. Right, aside from fighting, there's no other way. Even dying on the charge beats cowering in a corner waiting to die. Young Master Lin's right. Sprawled on the floor, Zhang Kai scrambled over on hands and knees, his legs still shaking, but a hysterical ferocity in his eyes. Damn it, we're dead either way, so let's take it down with us. Young Master Lin, whatever you say, that's how we fight. Wang Ming gripped his shield again and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Do as young Master Lin says, get it. Not far off, the skeletal knight lowered its body, its skeletal horse pawing the ground and kicking up sparks, the eerie blue nether fire blazing madly. Watching everyone's fighting spirit reignite, the corner of my mouth lifted. And at this moment, the little fireball in my mind felt the decisive battle atmosphere too. Fireball is in extreme anguish. It knows that to punch through that defense, it must draw all the flame back inward. It's desperately trying to compress the vast fire element toward the center, condense it into a single point. But the fire element is too volatile, and the slightest force makes it collapse and explode outward, refusing to take shape. I couldn't help offering a pointer. Are you stupid? Just make it spin. That solves it. Spin it to the extreme, and all the energy gets locked tight at the center, no longer dispersing. Extreme rotation brings extreme penetration, get it? The little fireball, which had been raging and roaring, suddenly went quiet. Fireball spinning. In its non-existent brain, a bolt of lightning suddenly flashed, now computing a new elemental arrangement. Fireball is ecstatic. Ha! Genius. I really am a genius. Congratulations. Fireball has independently evolved an advanced skill. Blazing Spiral Dragon Bolt. Low intermediate deals massive fire element damage to a single target, cooldown 30 seconds. Watching it comprehend a new skill just like that, I still couldn't help marveling. Spinning sounds simple, but in practice it's extraordinarily hard. The fire element is the most violent to begin with, and spinning it at high speed under extreme compression is as hard as scaling the heavens. One slip and the internal structure collapses, and it detonates on the spot. Only a freak like Little Fireball, with independent consciousness and near-monstrous command over the fire element, could, from a single pointer of mine, instantly pull off the theoretically impossible. Well, since you've learned it, let's give it a try. Calm and unhurried, I slowly raised my right hand into a finger gun, pointed it straight at the skeletal knight, and the corner of my mouth lifted. Miss Campus Bell, watch closely. A mage doesn't just need area coverage, he needs a one-shot kill trick too. Xia Qinghua blinked. A killer trick? One-shot kill? The others looked over in disbelief too. Has this Lord Lin comprehended yet another new skill? Are skills something you just get whenever you want them? Before anyone could react, a scorching fireball condensed in front of my fingertip. Then the next second it shuddered violently and began spinning madly. Whir. The surrounding air was instantly drained away, forming a visible vortex. Under the dual force of centrifugal and centripetal motion, the fireball shrank rapidly. Fist-sized, ping-pong ball-sized, and the flame turned from orange-red to a deep, somber dark red. Though it was now just a tiny point of light, the energy it held warped the surrounding space like ripples on water, and violent airflow surged backward, whipping my robe and sending my hair flying wildly. In that moment, Little Fireball's roar overlapped with my own voice. Fireball, now shatter. Now shatter. I crooked my finger at the empty air. That dark red point of light, compressed to the absolute extreme, blasted out with a piercing sonic boom. Its high-speed spin friction tore at the air, dragging a spiral, spreading tail of flame, and everywhere it passed, the bluestone bricks cracked inch by inch and were flung into the air. Boom! An earth-shaking explosion shattered everyone's eardrums, the entire hall shaking. A streak of dark red light instantly pierced clean through the skeletal knight's purple shield. The shield exploded into fragments and scattered into starlight. The knight was blasted back dozens of meters by the enormous impact, smashing hard into the white bone throne behind it and kicking up a sky full of dust. It broke? Zhang Kai couldn't believe it. That impregnable purple shield was now utterly gone. Xia Qinghua and the others stood rooted in place. One strike, truly just one strike, and a head-on one at that, forcibly breaking the area shield with a single point. This Lin family young master, just what kind of heaven-defying being was he? What are you all spacing out for? I blew on my burning hot fingertip, my eyes turning a few degrees sharper. Strike while it's down, move. Outside the dungeon, Rockfield. The once desolate wilderness was now lit bright as day by dozens of military searchlights, with hundreds of fully armed city defense soldiers stringing up a cordon, surrounding the dungeon entrance on all sides. Boom! Lin Tianhao's hulking figure crashed down from high in the sky like a thunderbolt. He hadn't bothered with his uniform, just a black overcoat thrown on, his bare chest heaving violently, his usually imposing tiger eyes now bloodshot. Beside him, Suwon's face was pale, but her back was ramrod straight. As a woman running a commercial empire, the more dire the moment, the less she could afford to show weakness in front of a crowd. "Commander, madam." Yi Hongyu came forward to report. The young master and the others entered the dungeon about 45 minutes ago, and it fully abyssified 10 minutes ago. How could this happen? Something that hasn't occurred in all these years, and Imo had to be the one to run into it. Suwon swayed on her feet. Lin Tianhao stared at the pitch-black entrance, his fist clenched so hard it cracked, lightning leaping wildly around his body. An abyssified dungeon, if not cleared within 24 hours, would have its inner monsters break out and trigger a disaster. Thankfully, this was only a low-grade dungeon. The army could handle it. Just then, there was a sharp screech of brakes beyond the cordon. Several military off-road vehicles stopped, and a group of imposing people got out. At their head, a middle-aged man in gold-rimmed glasses, followed by a haughty-looking youth, and 4 well-equipped, sharp-eyed young class holders. "Old Lin, what's the situation?" The middle-aged man strode over. "Zhao Lei, what are you doing here?" Lin Tianhao's brows knit tightly. The newcomer was none other than Zhao Lei, one of Zhanghai City's defense commanders, of the same rank as Lin Tianhao. Behind him was the son he took so much pride in, Zhao Yu, the blaze mage genius who'd awakened with S-rank fire element affinity. With something this big happening, of course I'd come, as one of the commanders. Zhao Lei pushed up his glasses and looked at the abyssified entrance. Abyssification, a 1 in 100,000 chance, truly a shame. He paused, then probed. "Old Lin, I heard in the report that the team trapped inside. Your son's in there too?" Lin Tianhao's breath caught, and he gave a heavy nod. "Yes." "And the team's makeup?" "Besides your son, who else?" "Levels gear," Yi Hongyu answered for him. "Besides the young master, an A-rank water mage, a B-rank shield warrior, a B-rank ranger, and an A-rank priest. All LV.4 on entry, gear around gold grade." Zhao Lei's brows instantly knit, and behind him Zhao Yu wore a mocking look. He and Lin Mo were both commander's sons, compared against Lin Mo since childhood, and he had no fondness for him. With a makeup like that, clearing a hard difficulty abyss dungeon was simply impossible. You've lost your head, old Lin." Zhao Lei spoke like someone exasperated at iron that won't become steel. "If you wanted someone to power level your Lin Mo, you could have just told me. Have my you lead the team. Isn't that better than this ragtag bunch? With a makeup like that, I doubt they could even break its defenses. Survival odds approaching 0. Save your hindsight." Lin Tianhao snorted coldly. It was just an ordinary leveling run. Who could have predicted that 1 in 100,000 abyssification? Quit playing the good guy. The two had jockeyed openly and in secret for half their lives, with Lin Tianhao always edging out the other in merit and strength. Now that Zhao Lei's son had turned out so promising, to lower himself and beg Zhao Lei to power level Lin Mo, that would be worse than killing him. "Fine, I won't argue with you. It's come to this. No use saying more." Zhao Lei had no intention of fighting. After all, the man's son was about to die, and if he truly provoked him, he was no match for Lin Tianhao. Good thing it's only hard grade. Once the dungeon resets, have you lead this LV.5 elite squad in. The level cap is 3 to 5. They're all LV.5 with full legendary grade gear and tight coordination. This is currently the only force in Zhanghai City that can resolve this abyss dungeon. Zhao Yu stepped forward, carrying the confident arrogance of an S-rank genius. "Uncle Lin, Auntie Sue, please don't worry. Although little Mo is most likely, well, I'll stay ready at all times. The instant the dungeon resets, I'll lead the team in first thing, personally take that boss's head, and avenge little Mo." Suwon, who'd been silent all this time, suddenly looked up, her reddened eyes flashing with a mother's stubbornness and refusal to accept it. "Who says Mo is sure to die? The dungeon hasn't reset yet, which means they're still alive. I believe in my son. Maybe Mo won't just survive. He'll clear this abyss dungeon while he's at it. Right, old Lin?" She turned to her husband, hope in her eyes, as if all it took was his nod for their son to truly survive. Lin Tianhao looked at his wife's tear-filled eyes. How could he not know how nearly impossible it was? But in this moment, how could he bear to speak that cruel no? He drew a deep breath, his voice hoarse. That's right, Mo will definitely make it, definitely. Zhao Lei blinked, then shook his head helplessly and didn't argue further. A blank slate mage with zero talent, leading a ragtag team, hoping to clear an abyss dungeon. It was sheer fantasy. He pushed up his glasses, sneering inwardly. If a makeup like Lin Mo's could really clear it, I, Zhao Lei, will eat the tires off this military off-road vehicle raw today. Inside the dungeon boss hall, the skeletal knight was embedded in the wreckage of the white bone throne, its shield broken, in a weakened state. Listen to young Master Lin. Take it down while it's weak. Zhang Kai roared as he drew his bow, arrows pouring out like rain. Wang Ming charged in with his shield and smashed it hard against the knight's kneecap. Low damage, but extremely insulting. Xia Qingyue swept her staff, and azure water arrows shot at the boss one after another. As for me, I kept munching snacks and watching the show while Little Fireball ran fully automatic bombardment. Rumble, rumble, the explosive flames instantly swallowed the boss. This barrage of damage made Zhang Kai and the others' eyelids twitch. Now that's damage. Next to young Master Lin, their attacks were just scratching an itch. The skeletal knight's health bar visibly dropped, soon falling below 70%. Roar! A furious bellow came from the wreckage. It swung its greatsword viciously, and a shockwave sent the nearest Wang Ming flying. Immediately after, that despair-inducing pale purple shield shrouded its whole body again. Crap, here it comes again. Zhang Kai whipped his head around to look at the relaxed me in the back. I didn't waste words. I raised my hand for another shot. The dark red point of light condensed, compressed, and spun at my fingertip with blazing speed. Off you go. A light crook of the finger. Boom. Without the slightest suspense, that spiraling dark red fire line pierced the shield again, and the newly formed shield burst into a sky full of starlight. The skeletal knight howled in agony. Its massive frame blasted away once more, smashing into the wall. Young Master Lin is invincible. Zhang Kai leapt up in excitement and kept up his damage. Though she'd already seen this strike, Xia Qingyue couldn't help glancing at the leisurely me. In the firelight, my bearing, unmoved even as a mountain collapsed before me, actually made this normally proud and aloof campus belle's heart skip a beat. So this is the bearing of a true powerhouse. Her gaze fixed on my still-smoking fingertip. As a top student, she understood the value of this move better than anyone. The fire element was acknowledged as the most violent, and to compress it to the extreme and spin it at high speed. This blazing spiral, though only low intermediate, was as hard to comprehend as an advanced skill and was the highest single-target damage low intermediate skill of any class, bar none. Lin family young master, just what kind of monster are you? What followed held no suspense. Every time the skeletal knight finally managed to squeeze out a shield, before it could so much as flaunt it, I'd blast it apart with a single shot. After 3 rounds of this, its massive frame collapsed with a crash, dissolving into a heap of withered bones wreathed in black vapor. Congratulations. Killed Abyss Skeletal Knight, LV.5. Gained EXP plus 20,000. Level increased to LV.7, 45%. We won, we really won. Lu Weiwei slumped to the ground, weeping with joy. Zhang Kai grabbed Wang Ming like a madman and jumped around. I cleared an abyss dungeon. Even the cold, aloof Xia Qingyue couldn't keep the corners of her mouth from rising. This was an abyss dungeon, and though only hard grade, it was enough to write a bold, vivid line into one's record. Quick, look what dropped. Wang Ming pointed at the cluster of light floating above the corpse. I glanced over it a few times. The most valuable thing was a gold-grade piece of equipment, and a warrior piece at that. Not my taste. You all split these among yourselves. No. Xia Qingyue spoke up at once, her face serious. Young Master Lin, that's against the rules. You're the boss, and the dungeon drops should rightfully be yours. Without you, forget clearing it. We'd have lost our lives. By sentiment and by reason, it's all yours. She drew a deep breath. Not only do we not want the loot, once we're out, we'll return the full hiring fee Uncle Lin paid. Getting to ride your coattails for 2 levels of EXP is already an enormous bargain. One mustn't be too greedy. Zhang Kai and Wang Ming paused for a moment. That was gold-grade equipment, after all, but quickly nodded. The captain's right. It's all young Master Lin's. I was at a loss too. I really have no use for this scrap metal. I can't even give money away anymore. Fine, fine, suit yourselves. I swept it all into my backpack with a wave of my hand. Young Master Lin, the day after tomorrow is the grand exam. With your strength, you'll probably get into the capital's Heavenly Dragon Academy. Envy flashed in Xia Qingyue's eyes. That was the holy land every class holder in the Dragon Nation dreamed of, where the most top-tier freakish prodigies gathered, and graduating started you off at the rank of a regional legion commander, a true backbone of humanity. Heavenly Dragon Academy? I raised an eyebrow. Whatever. What matters most is that the dorms and dining hall are decent. Oh, I heard Shanghai City went all out this time and prepared a complete heart of a lava behemoth as the prize for the city's top scorer. Zhang Kai cut in. A complete heart. Wang Ming's hand jerked. Lava behemoths are rare to begin with. Even a single slice of the meat gets bid up to sky-high prices, priced but never available. Fireball. Drooling like a waterfall. I want that. Lava behemoth. Just the name tells me it's my kind of food, and priced but never available. No less. Eat that, and I'll definitely be one step closer to becoming a forbidden spell. I rubbed my chin. We've got money at home, but in this world some things you can't buy with money alone. After all, mine isn't the only rich family. I gave a light chuckle and deliberately teased it. You want it? If you want it, call me daddy and let me hear it, and I'll grudgingly go bring that top scorer spot home. Fireball bristles. How dare you? This lord is a noble being destined to become a forbidden spell. Call you daddy. Oh, is that so? I shrugged indifferently. Fine then. I couldn't be bothered to lift a finger anyway. I'll just coast through this exam, since every academy's the same. Such a shame about that heart. Though, I hear it's pure fire element essence, and it bursts with juice when you bite into it. TSK, TSK. Fireball falls silent. It swallowed a gulp of non-existent saliva, its dignity wavering violently before gourmet food. A few seconds later, an extremely awkward voice came into my mind. Fireball, mortified, "Hey. Louder, didn't you eat? I can't hear you." I pushed my luck. Fireball flies into a rage from embarrassment. That's enough. I said it already. Fine. I couldn't be bothered to tease it further and wave to everyone. Let's go, folks. Sisya's probably so tired she's about to doze off. Outside the dungeon, rock field. The atmosphere was so oppressive it was suffocating. Lin Tianhao's eyes were bloodshot, his black overcoat flapping. Su Wan's hands were clasped tightly at her chest. In this moment, this powerhouse of a woman was simply a mother praying for her child's safety. On the other side, Zhao Lei was far more composed, glancing now and then at the expensive watch on his wrist. Just then, the spinning dungeon vortex suddenly stalled for a beat. This was the sign of a dungeon about to reset. Lin Tianhao's and Su Wan's hearts instantly leapt to their throats. There were only two possibilities for an abyssified dungeon to reset. Either everyone inside was dead and the dungeon reset, or it had been cleared. Looks like it's over. You, get ready to enter. Zhao Lei pushed up his glasses. Got it, Dad. Zhao Yu flexed his wrists, raring to go. Getting to show off in front of so many big shots was exciting just to think about. No, look up there. Yi Hongyu suddenly cried out. Everyone followed her pointing finger. That record, held for 18 years, was rapidly fading away. Top record, 1 hour 05 minutes 22 seconds clearing team. Xia Qingyue, Zhang Kai, Wang Ming, Lu Weiwei, Lin Mo. This, how is that possible? Zhao Lei's expression froze, his mouth hanging open, unable to close for the longest time. Zhao Yu stared blankly too. Cleared and broke the record? And broke it with the dungeon abyssified. Before anyone could recover, the dungeon entrance flashed with light, and several figures slowly walked out of the vortex. The moment I stepped out, I was startled by the spectacle. Hundreds of fully armed soldiers, dozens of huge lamps, pair after pair of eyes staring straight at me. Whoa, this big a production. My gaze swept the crowd and landed on Zhao Yu, his expression priceless. I cocked an eyebrow and waved with a not-quite smile. Yo, young Master Zhao's here too? Not home asleep this late. Out here catching the breeze. How leisurely and refined of you. You? Zhao Yu's face flushed red, unable to get a word out. Before I could needle him further, Su Wan rushed over. Moa. Forgetting all about her CEO image, she grabbed me and held on for dear life, with enough force to nearly snap my ribs. You scared me to death. An abyss dungeon. If anything had happened to you, I wouldn't have gone on living either. Cough. Mom, let go. I didn't get killed by the monsters, but you're about to choke me to death. I was squeezed until my eyes rolled back and my face went purple. Only then did Su Wan let go, wiping her tears haphazardly, looking me up and down with worry. I'm sorry, Mom got too emotional. Are you hurt? Where does it hurt? I'm really fine, not even a scratch. I spread my hands helplessly and showed off my intact limbs. Lin Tianhao strode over. Though this iron-blooded commander hadn't lost his composure like his wife, the big hand he pressed on my shoulder trembled slightly, betraying the agitation inside him. Good lad, alive is all that matters. His gaze went past me and landed on Xia Qingwei and the other three coming out behind me, his brows knitting slightly. Aside from dust and exhaustion, those four didn't have a single mark of serious injury? What exactly happened here? Even with my son's micro-talent, surviving that kind of environment would already be impressive. How could he possibly bring the whole team out without a scratch? Xia Qingwei stepped forward and bowed deeply to him. Uncle Lin, Auntie Sue, that we made it out alive and cleared the Abyss dungeon is entirely thanks to Lin Mo. If he hadn't shattered the boss's shield single-handedly and shouldered over 90% of the firepower, we'd have died in there long ago. She took out a bank card and offered it with both hands. We can't accept the hiring fee for this. We were of no help at all. Instead, we rode young Master Lin's coattails for 2 levels of EXP and even earned the honor of a record clear. This money burns my hands. Please, you must take it back. Zhang Kai and Wang Ming nodded like chicks pecking grain. That's right, Commander. Young Master Lin was just too incredible. He carried the whole show. We just wanted to cheer. We'd be too embarrassed to take the money. Bombarded by this string of flattery, I couldn't quite hold up and scratched my head awkwardly. Ahem, you're all too kind. It wasn't that incredible, just moderately incredible, moderately. Lin Tianhao looked at his son's nonchalant air, hardly able to believe it. One person carrying the whole show and breaking an 18-year record while abyssified? My own son, really this incredible? He suppressed his wild joy, laughed heartily, and pushed the card back. Keep it. Money that I, Lin Tianhao, have given out is never taken back. Su Wan gently took Xia Qingyue's hand too and pushed the card back. Little Xia, when your Uncle Lin tells you to keep it, you keep it. No matter how much Amoer did. Without you all holding the front and without your teammates' trust, he couldn't have accomplished much alone. Consider this money a token from Annie. You walk through the gates of death alongside Amoer. So take it and buy some tonics to restore yourselves. Then, thank you, Uncle Lin, Auntie Sue. Xia Qingwei finally took the card back. All right, no more standing out here in the cold wind. In great spirits, Lin Tianhao waved for his subordinates to escort Xia Qingwei and the others home first. Not far off, Zhao Lei's face was full of disbelief. Not a single injury, not only cleared it, but did so with no casualties at all. Dad, how is this possible? Zhao Yu murmured. Probably that old codger Lin Tianhao spent a fortune giving Lin Mo some kind of trump card. Zhao Lei snorted coldly, his gaze landing on Xia Qingyue as she was about to leave. And besides, that girl named Xia Qingyue is no ordinary one either. You know her? Zhao Yu nodded. She's from neighboring number 1 high school, A-rank water affinity. Before her awakening, she was always first in the whole school in both theory and combat simulation. A-rank water mage, first in the school. Zhao Lei narrowed his eyes, opened the car door, and before getting in, coldly instructed his aide. Go, look into this Xia Qingwei thoroughly, and find a chance to talk to her. Tell her we want Jianghai's top scorer spot this time, and she can name whatever compensation she wants. Yes, Commander. The aide accepted the order and left. The car window rose, and Zhao Lei looked at his son, his tone serious. You, don't let a little thing like this throw off your composure. The prize for this city's top scorer, the lava behemoth's heart, is crucial for you as a blaze mage. Don't worry, Dad. This Jianghai top scorer spot, I'm bound to take it. Zhao Yu clenched his fist, fire igniting in his eyes. Watching his son like this, Zhao Lei's gloomy mood lifted considerably. Truly my own blood. Facing a strong foe, he doesn't retreat, but is spurred to even greater fighting spirit. Only with this kind of ferocity is one fit to stand at the summit of this man-eating world. Outside the dungeon, I rock field. Fireball, listless, hungry, so hungry. I feel hollowed out. That blazing spiral dragon bolt just now drained too much. Hurry and find this lord some fire dragon meat to tide it over. Little Fireball's once arrogant voice now sounded weak and feeble. I rubbed my stomach. Gurgle, gurgle. I was indeed hungry too, like I could eat a whole cow. Mom, save the sentimental talk for when we get back. I'm about to faint from hunger. I turned to Su-won. Can we get some food first? Preferably high calorie, high fire element. I want to replenish. Eat. You must eat. Su-won immediately sprang into action. Mom will have the 5-star chef team fire up the stoves right now. Fire dragon meat? Chilen arm? Deep sea flame marrow soup? Whatever you want to eat, Mom will get it for you. Beside us, Lin Tianhao glanced back toward where Zhao Lei's motorcade had vanished, the night wind stirring the overcoat draped over him. Fought for half a lifetime, and that old codger Zhao Lei really thinks he can win one back through his son? But he never imagined Moer would be this incredible. He gave a cold snort and turned to me. Moa, since you've got such great talent and you're so willing to push yourself, then we can't waste it. He swept his hand grandly, brimming with heroic spirit. I've decided, tonight I'll bring in the City Defense Force's 3rd Special Operations Brigade. This whole rock field, along with several nearby leveling zones, will be locked down tonight. They'll pull monsters for you, beat them down, and let you reap the kills. We're not going home tonight. We'll grind through the night, and before the grand exam we'll stomp Zhao Yu into the dirt and knock the edge off the Zhao father and son. My whole body went stiff. Grind through the night. I just finished an abyss dungeon. Even a work team's livestock doesn't get pushed this hard. I was about to voice the basic human demand for sleep. No. Su-won slapped his hand away and glared. Lin Tianhao, are you insane? Moer just barely escaped death in an abyss dungeon, drained so much mental energy, and you want him up all night? You want to work my son to death? Which matters more, leveling up or his health? No. Moer has to go home and sleep right now. In my mind, I gave Mom a furious thumbs up. Exactly, exactly. Do we not need sleep around here? Fireball, sleep? Only the weak need sleep. Finish the feast and keep going. This lord is going to become a forbidden spell Fireball. Tired from a little of this? Get up and let's party. Looking at little Fireball thrashing wildly in my skill list, I felt a wave of exhaustion. This little delinquent might actually pull it off. If I go home and sleep, then wake up having leveled again, how do I explain that? Haha. Just kidding. I snuck out to grind again in the middle of the night. Wouldn't they think I'm crazy? Just then Lin Tianhao gave a sly chuckle and gently coaxed Su-won. Honey, don't get worked up, hear me out. I feel for our son too, and I know Moer is tired. What I mean is, we move that big bed from home over here and set up a temporary base. The special brigade handles pulling monsters and beating them down to a sliver of HP, then delivers them right in front of Moer. All Moer has to do is lie comfortably in bed and twitch a finger to land the finishing blow. Move a bed out to the wilderness. Level up while lying down. Su-won hesitated. Out in the open, exposed to the wind. How could Moer sleep well? I knew it was time to speak up. Can't dodge it, so I might as well enjoy it. There's a bed to lie in, and little fire fights on its own anyway, so me sleeping doesn't conflict with anything. I drew a deep breath, instantly fixed my expression, stepped forward, my eyes resolute, my tone ringing. Mom, Dad's right. I'm exhausted and I really want to go home and sleep. But I clenched my fist. Lin Mo, may have no grand ambitions, but I absolutely cannot let Mom and Dad lose face. It's just one all-nighter, right? Just one night's sleep skipped? For the grand exam, for the glory of the Lin family, I'll give it everything. Those words, paired with my resolute gaze, instantly stunned Su-won, and her eyes reddened on the spot. What a sensible child. He's clearly this tired, yet to win some pride for his parents he insists on continuing the special training. Good boy. She choked up with emotion, then took out a skill book glowing with a yellowish-brown light. Since you've got this much heart, Mom won't stop you. This is one mom specially prepared for you this morning. The Earth Element Basic Skill Earth Shield. You might be able to use it soon, so take it now. Skill Book. Earth Shield. Basic. Summons an Earth Element shield that blocks a certain amount of physical and magical damage. You could learn a new basic skill at LV.10. I was now over halfway through LV.7. If a whole special brigade came to help me grind, I'd probably be able to learn it the moment I woke up. And once I learned this Earth Shield, I hope it's a steady-tempered skill, not another volatile little hothead. Thanks, Mom. I put the skill book away. Lin Tianhao turned and instructed his aide. Go, bring the 3rd Special Operations Brigade over here. Then go home and dismantle that bed in Moer's room and haul it over. Silk quilt, latex pillow, aroma diffuser, bring it all. Notify the kitchen team to bring all the ingredients and cookware. Move out within 10 minutes. The aide listened in a daze, standing ramrod straight. Yes, Commander. But as he turned away, he wiped a cold sweat. Moving a bedroom out to the wilderness and calling up an entire special brigade just to pull monsters. This noble house is rich beyond all reason. Just before getting in the car, Lin Tianhao suddenly turned back and shouted at me. Kiddo, give it your all. I thumped my chest, pointed at him, and answered loudly. Dad, this city's top scorer spot. I'm taking it for sure. Nobody can hold me back. Mark my words. Watching their son's confident, soaring spirit, the couple exchanged a smile, full of relief and pride. Looks like our son didn't turn out a wash after all. No, he didn't. Rockfield, a luxury camp. A giant luxury tent went up out of thin air, Persian velvet carpets. The long table laid out with freshly cooked delicacies. The attendants set the table professionally, and I tucked in with a clear conscience. A piece of blazed demon boar pork belly melted in my mouth, the scorching heat bursting on my tongue, seared crisp outside and tender within. Fireball swallows saliva like mad. Delicious. So delicious. Quick, another piece. The tent flap lifted, and Yi Hongyu strode in. Young master, the special brigade has assembled and is standing by on the perimeter. Your bed has been set up too, and all idle personnel have been cleared from the surroundings, so you can grind levels with peace of mind. That fast, I glanced at the largely demolished feast on the table, wiped my mouth, and stood. All right, I'm full, let's begin. Stepping out of the tent, the familiar custom-made big soft bed appeared before me, surrounded by dozens of fully armed, bloodthirsty special ops soldiers standing at the ready. I plopped down into the soft mattress. Comfy. Greetings, young master. 3 burly men stepped forward and saluted. Yi Hongyu introduced them. This is Ahu, a berserker, Ernyo, a ranger, and Shirtu, an earth mage. They'll lead the squad tonight, beating monsters down and delivering them to you. Don't worry, young master. Ahu thumped his chest. The monsters we bring won't have more than 5% HP left. You just twitch a finger and reap them. All right, thanks for the hard work, brothers. Let's begin. I pulled out my phone and turned it sideways. Just 8. Not sleepy yet. I'll play a few rounds first. At a single command, the soldiers instantly turned into shadows and melted into the night. A moment later, roar. Young master, incoming monster, 3 o'clock. Shirtu shouted, and a wasteland demon wolf, LV.6, with a broken leg and covered in blood came flung high through the air. I was focused on a team fight. Fireball, die. Whoosh. A fireball nailed the wolf's head precisely in midair. Wasteland demon wolf killed. EXP plus 35. Beautiful. Shitta's eyes lit up. That precision and prediction were simply godlike. Young master, 12 o'clock, 2 of them. Ahu's booming voice rang out, and 2 low HP venomous lizards came flying. Boom, boom. In a mere 2 seconds, a double kill. Holy crap. Ahu's eyes nearly popped out, and he exchanged a glance with Shirtu and swallowed. Captain Yi said the young master's micro was amazing and that he could split his attention 2 ways. I didn't believe it at first, but it's real. Shirtu said in a low voice. I'm an earth mage. I know how hard that kind of multitasking is, truly worthy of the young master. The coordination grew smoother and smoother, the monster pulling more and more frequent, from 1 or 2 to packs of 3 or 5. All kinds of wasteland monsters were beaten down and flung beside the bed. Night deepened. I played 7 or 8 matches, a winning streak followed by a string of losses, and my energy finally gave out. Yon, that's it. I can't hold on. Up all night yesterday, an abyss dungeon today. Even an Iron Man couldn't take it. I tossed my phone onto the pillow, tipped over, and burrowed into the warm silk quilt. You all keep going. I'll just close my eyes for a bit. In under 3 seconds, the sound of steady breathing rose up. Ahu came charging back, hauling an iron-armored rhino, about to shout, "Young master, incoming monster." When he saw I'd already curled up under the covers and froze on the spot. Shirtu, who'd run back, dragging a porcupine, was dumbfounded too. The young master's asleep? Looks like he's asleep. Ahu nodded. Should we still throw the monster? Shirtu hesitated. He's asleep. What if something goes wrong? Ahu gritted his teeth. Captain Yi said grind through the night, not stop once he's asleep. The monsters are beaten down to a sliver of HP. If the young master doesn't react, we'll finish them off ourselves. We absolutely won't hurt a single hair on his head. Off it goes. He put his arms into it and gently tossed that heavy iron-armored rhino toward the open ground beside the bed. A fireball condensed out of thin air and, with a shrill whistle of cleaving wind, instantly pierced through the iron-armored rhino. Ahu and Shirtu were instantly petrified. He's really asleep? Shirtu couldn't believe it. Young master, Ahu called out softly, testing. No reaction from the bed. Young master. He raised his voice. MMH. My brow furrowed slightly. I hugged the pillow, rolled over, and went on snoring away. Ahu and Shirtu looked at each other. He's really asleep. Ahu drew a deep breath, full of shock. Even his rolling over is that natural. This is definitely deep sleep. Incredible, truly incredible. Shirtu lowered his voice in excitement. Brother who, have you heard? Legend has it that some top-tier class holders, in pursuit of the ultimate combat instinct, deliberately train themselves to fight in their sleep. No conscious awareness needed, killing enemies purely through the instincts of body and mental energy. Ahu wavered. But, young Master Lin just awakened. Nobody in our squad can do that, can they? What do you know? Shirtu shot him a look. How can we compare to young Master Lin? Do you know who young Master Lin is? Commander Lin's son. How could a tiger father sire a dog of a son? Ahu blinked, then nodded heavily. Fair point. The commander's son, a little monstrous in talent, stands to reason. The awe in their eyes deepened. What are we waiting for? Back to work. Let's go, let's go. The next day, Rock Field Camp. I rolled over groggily and opened my eyes. Beside the bed, an attendant held a cup of warm milk. Young master, you're awake. You were exhausted last night, so drink a little to recover first. I sat up, took it, drained it in one go, and out of habit opened my status panel. Name, Lin MO class. Mage level, LV.10, 8%. Whoa, actually LV.10? So this is the joy of lying flat. Other people grind monsters until they're half dead, and I just sleep my way up a level. I looked around. Only my personal attendant remained. Where's everyone else? Young master, about an hour ago, Captain Ahu and the others stopped pulling monsters. The attendant took the empty cup. You were sleeping so deeply afterward that the monsters they threw over got no reaction. Captain Yi was afraid of disturbing your rest, so she had them stop for now. Right now some are on guard, and others have gone to take turns resting. Oh, looks like that little fireball wore itself out too. Just then, Yi Hongyu came over with Ahu and Shirtu, all three of them a little bloodshot in the eyes. Morning, young master. Morning. Thanks for the hard work, everyone. I stretched and got out of bed. I slept like the dead last night. I didn't cause you any trouble, did I? No. That was the young master's deep meditation. Ahu gave an honest grin. To maintain that kind of precise killing in deep sleep and keep it up half the night. Young master, you're simply a god among men. I gave a couple of dry laughs and didn't pick up the thread. Young master, so, do we keep grinding? Yi Hongyu asked. If you want to continue, I'll have them go pull monsters right away. I glanced at my skill list. Fireball status, snoring away, drooling. My main damage dealer is AFK. I'm supposed to handcast fireballs myself? You've got to be kidding. I'd rather lie in bed and play a few ranked matches. Forget it. Sis Yi, no grinding for now. My head's still buzzing from just waking up. Let me rest a bit and clear it. Sure, as the young master says. Just then Shirtu spoke up curiously. Young master, you're already LV.10. Doesn't that mean you can learn a second basic skill? I heard the commander say yesterday you wanted to learn Earth Element. Right, staying alive matters. I took out the Earth Shield skill book Mom had given me. Young master, you really chose well. Ahu said at once. It's not just about staying alive. Shirtu here is the only S-rank elemental affinity mage in our entire special brigade, and Earth element affinity at that. When it comes to understanding Earth skills, in Shanghai City he'll admit to being second, and hardly anyone dares claim first. Brother Hu, don't talk nonsense. Shirtu waved his hands repeatedly. How would I dare call myself S-rank in front of the young master? The young master's a micromaster. From what I've seen of your fireball mastery, it's deeper than my Earth Shield after a dozen years of practice. I just have a few little insights, that's all. His mouth was humble, but the confidence in his eyes couldn't be hidden. As an S-rank Earth affinity mage, his sense of the Earth and his defensive construction truly held talent beyond ordinary reach. All right, Brother Shirtu, no need to be modest. I smiled and patted the skill book. Since you're the expert, once I've learned it, I'll have to trouble you for some pointers. You honor me too much. Give it a try, young master. If there's any problem, I'll tell you all I know. Shirtu was flattered. I stopped dawdling. This concerned my own life, and the sooner I learned it, the sooner I'd feel secure. Use. The skill book turned into light and bored into the spot between my brows. You have learned the basic skill. Earth Shield, LV.1. Summons an Earth element shield that blocks physical and magical damage from the front. I didn't much care about the skill's effect. What I cared about was, would it talk? I called out tentatively in my mind, Little Earth? You there? Hello? Anybody home? The Earth Shield icon in my skill list didn't stir in the slightest. No way. My brow furrowed slightly. Is Little Fireball the only special one? Or is this skill a mute? Seeing me learn it, and then sit there spacing out, Shirtu assumed I felt nothing, and patiently explained like an experienced hand. The hardest thing for an Earth element mage is communicating with the Earth element. The fire element is volatile and restless. A single nudge and it ignites. The Earth element, on the other hand, is steady by nature, and using it well takes enormous patience. You've only just made contact, so feeling nothing is normal. Oh, I see, much obliged, Brother Shirtu. Since he was earnestly imparting his knowledge right in front of me, not responding would have been rude. Shirtu's sense of accomplishment swelled, and he pointed at the open ground. Young master, why not cast it here and give it a try, and I'll take a look for you. Sure, let's try. I stood up. The air trembled faintly. A ring of pale yellowish-brown light surfaced around me and condensed into a half-transparent Earth shield hovering before me, looking like a gust of wind would scatter it. Ahu and Yihong Yu exchanged a glance. Without affinity, getting it to take shape on the first try is already no small feat. As for its strength, best not to hope. Shirtu stepped up dutifully and rapped on it. For a first cast, getting it to take shape already beats over 90% of rookies. Diplomatic version. For a blank slate to cast it this well is already pretty good. But his tone shifted as he began to instruct. The structure's still too loose. Young master, settle your mind. Don't think about how to defend. Instead, feel the earth beneath your feet. Imagine drawing out the rock and soil under you, compressing and stacking it, packing it into this shield. Follow my rhythm. Breathe deep. Feel that heft. I closed my eyes and followed his guidance. Even without affinity, under the guidance of his mental energy, this thin shield began to change. And this was also the first time I'd cast a skill entirely on my own. The shield's color visibly deepened a few shades. Still not exactly strong, but at least it looked the part now. Yes, that's it. Shita's eyes lit up, and he clapped in praise. Remember that feeling. At this shield's current thickness, blocking a same-level basic fireball is more than enough. He was raring to go. Young master, shall we test its actual defense? I'll cast the most basic fireball at it and see. Hearing she was about to take a hit, Yihong Yu's brow furrowed slightly. Shirtu, the young master just learned it. You're going to put it to the test already? Don't worry, Captain Yi. I have a sense of restraint. I'll just use a small fireball. With this shield's thickness, it's plenty to block. Shirtu thumped his chest. Seeing how certain he was a seasoned veteran mage. After all, and had that much control. Yihongyu nodded and stepped back a few paces with Ahu. Shirtu retreated to a good 10 meters off. Whoosh! A ball of orange-red flame rose in his palm, genuinely small, even a size smaller than my earlier fireballs. However, the instant that ball of fire appeared, the Earth Shield icon, which had shown no reaction at all, suddenly gave a violent shudder. Earth Shield senses the aura of danger. It lets out a pig being slaughtered shriek. Oh no! Danger! Don't come near, Rockfield Camp. That pig being slaughtered shriek in my mind left me utterly frozen. Good grief, so you can talk? I called out forever with no response, and now your voice is louder than anyone's? But danger? What danger? I instinctively glanced at Shirtu 10 meters away. The fireball in his hand was only fist-sized, looking even punier than the fireballs I'd cast. That's it. And this counts as danger? I looked at the Earth Shield in front of me, speechless. This Earth Shield, does it have some misunderstanding about the word danger? Yet the Earth Shield not only didn't calm down, it flashed even more frantically. Earth Shield trembles violently. It's terrifying. That fireball, it's grinning savagely. Master, it'll burn you to ash. Out of excessive fear, it starts catastrophizing. A thin shield can't possibly block this kind of horrifying attack. Need thicker, harder, more comprehensive protection. Earth Shield is frantically drawing Earth Element from deep underground. Congratulations. Because your skill is extremely afraid of death, it has independently evolved an advanced skill. Earth Flow Wall, Low Intermediate. Earth Flow Wall instantly raises a thick wall of earth and stone from the ground, blocking frontal damage and even reshaping the terrain. Cooldown 5 seconds. I looked at the new skill description, my mouth twitching. What the heck? Extremely afraid of death. So it comprehended Earth Flow Wall. Young master, are you ready? Shirtu gave an honest grin and said patiently, don't be nervous. Breathe deep. Focus your mental energy on the shield. I'm about to attack, okay? I looked at the Earth Flow Wall icon, then at the harmless mini fireball in his hand, my expression a little odd. Ready. The skill's already comprehended, so I guess that counts as ready? Shirtu keenly caught my strange look, put away his smile, and said with particular gravity, young master, you really needn't worry. Your shield may not look thick, but under my guidance it's already enough. I'll hold back my power too. So set your mind completely at ease. With my dozen-plus years of experience, your shield will block at 100%, won't even wobble. This is mainly to let you feel what blocking is like. Ahu chimed in cheerfully too. That's right, young master. If Shirtu says it's enough, then it's surely enough. Yihongyu also gave a slight nod to reassure me. My head just ached. What I'm worried about isn't getting hurt. It's you all getting scared out of your wits. But there was no way to explain that. Fine, go ahead, brother Shirtu, I won't dodge. Right then, young master, watch closely, go. Shirtu flicked his wrist, and the mini fireball shot toward me, not even very fast. At that very same moment, Earth Shield shrieks in despair, it's coming. This is a killing blow. Terrified, I just comprehended the new skill and don't know if it can block, can only try. I'll protect master to the death. Rumble rumble. Without warning, the ground shook violently, as if an earth dragon were turning over below. Holy crap! Earthquake! Ahu's expression changed. Yihongyu's pupils contracted, daggers out, scanning warily. Even Shirtu looked baffled. The next second, the ground in front of me suddenly burst apart. Earth Shield, rise! Boom! A massive amount of soil and rock erupted madly from underground, and in the blink of an eye a magnificent wall of earth and stone loomed between me and that mini fireball. Not a shield, a wall. A colossal barrier a full 5 meters tall, 10 meters long, 2 meters thick, its huge shadow instantly blanketing the whole scene. The open ground, sunny just moments ago, now seemed blotted out by a small mountain. And that mini fireball, freighted with all its instructional significance, was tiny and helpless before this wall. It struck dead center, fizzled out without leaving so much as a scorch mark, and only a wisp of smoke rose forlornly. Dead silence. This shield, no, this wall. Ahu murmured blankly. Yihongyu's dagger hand froze in midair. Shirtu was so shocked his eyes nearly fell to the ground. A low intermediate earth skill, Earth Flow Wall? Just learned the basic skill, and comprehended a low intermediate one in the blink of an eye. And the key thing, using Earth Flow Wall to block this fist-sized little fireball? Was that necessary? Earth Shield, having survived a brush with death. That was close. For a moment there, I felt the countdown to death. That fireball was less than 10 meters from Master. It proudly claims credit. Master, Master. How was my reaction? Doesn't it just brim with security? If not for me, you'd have been charcoal back there. I stood behind the thick wall, looking up at this colossus, and reached out to touch it. Rough, hard, and carrying the chill of the deep earth. It did feel quite secure. But, buddy, can we have a little skill dignity? A fist-sized little fireball, and you make it out to be the end of the world. You're embarrassing me, you know that? Fireball, full of morning grumpiness. What's that racket? It woke this lord up. Whoever's causing trouble, get out here. Earth Shield, terrified. Master, careful. There's a strange voice, and an enemy. I sighed helplessly. Little Earth, that's your big brother, Fireball. He's one of us. Earth Shield lets out a long breath of relief. Scared me to death. So it's big brothered. Fireball, suspicious. HM? This lord has a little brother now? Since when? Extremely sensitive to the fire element. It gave a sniff. Fireball. Wait, in this air, why is there a faint whiff of fire element? It stared at the wall, stunned. How'd a mountain show up in front of us? Someone just made a probing attack with a small fireball, and this is what your new little brother put up to block it, I explained. Fireball was silent for 3 seconds, then put on a face full of disdain. Uffed, that little dribble of fire element, and you threw up a wall this big to block it? Scared this badly by such trash? If word got out, never mind being my little brother, I couldn't afford the embarrassment. A true powerhouse doesn't need this kind of turtle shell. Earth Shield retorts weakly. Safety first, you know? What if Master got hurt, even a single hair? I don't think I did anything wrong. Fireball rolls its eyes. A coward's a coward. Don't make excuses. Earth Shield mutters under its breath. I never admitted to being your little brother anyway. I have only one big brother, and that's Master. Brute. Fireball, eyes turning cold. What did you say? Say it again if you dared. Earth Shield, stiffening its neck. I said Master is the handsomest. All right, both of you shut it. My head throbbed. Little fire, one more squabble, and tonight's fire dragon meet is cancelled. The moment those words came out, the fireball icon flickered a few times and instantly fell silent. Fireball, humiliated. This lord is destined to become a noble forbidden spell being. Yet I'm held hostage by a piece of meat. The height of disgrace. Status, unmute. Earth Shield, eyes full of adoration. As expected, Master is the strongest. One word, and you had that brute completely under your thumb. The world was finally at peace. Young Master, are you all right? Shirtu called from behind the wall. I'm fine. Brother Shirtu controlled the fireball well, didn't hurt me a bit. I patted off the dust and came around from behind the wall. Beyond the wall, it was dead silent. Ahu reached out and felt along that rough, thick wall, cold to the touch, appallingly hard. Shirtu, tell me the truth. How long did it take you to learn this skill back in the day? A trace of a bitter smile crossed Shirtu's face, his voice as small as a mosquito's whine. 5 days, plus eating an Earth Flow Wall skill book to aid comprehension. Ahu and Yihong Yu showed not the slightest mockery. Comprehending a low intermediate skill in 5 days was already very fast, even among S-rank affinity types. But this blank slate, young Master Lin? From getting that most basic Earth Shield skill book to casting up this wall, all told, just about 5 minutes, and he'd forcibly comprehended an advanced skill out of one basic skill book. This wasn't a gap in talent, it was a gap in species. Shirtu walked up to the wall and knocked on it a few times. Young Master, this is the low intermediate Earth skill Earth Flow Wall, and from its structure, it was cast nearly to perfection, fully capable of blocking an attack from a class holder 10 levels above you. He couldn't help murmuring, this kind of command and pull over the earth element. Even if you told me you were the love child of the god of the earth, I'd believe it. Far from objecting, Ahu and Yihong Yu nodded in fervent agreement. Last night, a reincarnated fire god. Today, a child of the earth. Case closed. The young master was most likely their love child. Ahem, Brother Shirtu, you shouldn't say such things. My dad's still at home. I scratched my head, embarrassed. Young master, don't take it seriously, I was joking. Shirtu wiped a cold sweat and hurriedly changed the subject, his face turning serious. But young master, defensive skills like this may be tough, yet they drain enormous mental energy too. For ordinary attacks, the basic earth shield is enough. Why use a butcher's cleaver to kill a chicken, right? Makes sense. I'll use it more sparingly next time. I nodded. Even though this skill didn't drain my mental energy at all, it wasn't me casting it, after all. Just then, Yi Hong-yu's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her brows knitting tightly. What is it, Captain Yi? Ahu keenly put away his honest grin. Shirtu leaned in too, his expression tense. Yi Hong-yu stared at the screen and said in a low voice, "Just got word. A large number of wild monsters are massing towards Sunset Canyon. That's the sign of a monster tide." What? A monster tide? Rockfield Camp. A monster tide? I asked curiously. Shirtu hurried to explain. Young master, that's a special spatial anomaly out in the wild. It draws in wild monsters from within a radius of hundreds of kilometers and makes them mass frantically toward the center. The closer to the center, the more frenzied they become, with greatly boosted attack and stats. His face tightened. The crucial part is that once the time limit's up, a wild boss randomly spawns at the center point. So a monster tide usually means extreme danger. That's right, young master, Ahu added. The wild monsters become noticeably stronger once they're within 10 kilometers. For class holders' safety, we impose a military lockdown on the surrounding 10-kilometer zone. Just then, Yi Hong-yu's phone rang. Commander. Yes, understood. I'll lead the team over right away. I guarantee the mission's completion. She hung up, turned, and swept her gaze over everyone. The commander's orders: break camp immediately and head to the Sunset Canyon lockdown zone and bring the young master along. Huh? Bring the young master? Ahu and Shirtu blinked. Shirtu said worriedly, Captain Yi, that's a monster tide. The monsters are frenzied and dense. Even though the young master has earth flow wall to protect himself, that's a chaotic battlefield. Yi Hong-yu shook her head. With me, with you all, and with the special brigade, what danger could there be? Same as last night. Have everyone beat the monsters down and hand them off to the young master to finish. With this kind of density, this kind of reaping efficiency, the young master might just shoot all the way to LV.15 today. Ahu and Shirtu exchanged a glance and instantly saw the light. Right. Where else could you find such a good thing normally? This is practically a leveling holy land tailor-made for the young master. The higher the level, the harder it is to climb. Lin Mo was now LV.10, and a normal day of monster pulling in the wild would top out at maybe LV.12 and a half. A monster tide, on the other hand, could vault him straight to LV.15. Young master, what do you think? Yi Hong-yu asked. Before I could open my mouth, the skill list started bickering first. Earth Shield curls into a ball, trying to dissuade me. A monster tide? Even the name's terrifying. It's too dangerous for master. Let's not go, okay? Fireball flies into a rage. Shut it, you coward. All you know how to do is hide. Go. We must go. This lord will turn that place into a sea of fire. Earth Shield retorts weakly. This is brute behavior. Master's safety comes first. Fireball, beat it. The strong stay strong forever. What kind of skill is it to be timid and shrinking? I think you're just begging to be burned. Stop, stop, stop. My head ached, and I hurried to call a halt. Both of you quit it, my head's buzzing. I looked at the fully armed Ahu and Shirtu, and the composed Yi Hong-yu. This lineup, plus the special brigade, my wall of size, and my cannon. What danger could there be? I'll go with what Sissy says. Good. Yi Hong-yu was about to give the order. And bring the bed along while you're at it. I added in all seriousness. The air instantly went quiet. Top-tier talent. And he has to bring a bed to grind levels. Should one call him a genius so diligent he trains even in his sleep, or a wastrel who only knows how to enjoy himself? Yi Hong-yu drew a deep breath and said calmly, Don't worry, young master. Forget a bed. We could move your whole house over. Ahu, arrange the vehicles. Shirtu, assemble the troops. Sunset Canyon, a lockdown zone. 2 hours later, a torrent of steel rolled into the outskirts of Sunset Canyon. The sky was an eerie dark red, as if soaked in blood. Cordons had been strung up at every junction. I'd just gotten out of the vehicle. Young Master Lin? Xia Qingwei jogged over. You're here for the defense mission? Something like that. What are you doing here? We were grinding levels inside the canyon and got driven out when the tide warning hit. She smiled wryly. Oh, stay safe then. I had no intention of letting her tag along to share EXP. We weren't close, and besides, there were plenty of places suited to her leveling. She wasn't disappointed either, which was only normal. After a moment's thought, she leaned in and lowered her voice. By the way, young Master Lin, the Zhao family contacted me last night. They want to buy me off. As long as I don't try too hard at tomorrow's grand exam and hand the city's top scorer spot to Zhao Yu, they'll pay me 3 million. You agreed? I asked, curious. I turned them down. Her eyes firmed with resolve. Why? Too little money. I was a little surprised. It's not about the money. She curled her lip in distaste. I just can't stand the Zhao family's superior attitude, especially Zhao Yu, small on ability, big on temper. She said earnestly, more importantly, I know who the real powerhouse is. Rather than curry favor with the Zhao family, I'd rather stand on your side, even if it's just a gesture. She was clever. She didn't want to get tangled in a noble house feud, but if she had to pick a side, having seen Lin Mo's strength, she chose the Lin family without hesitation. Taking the Zhao family's money now, if it ever made young Master Lin think she was greedy and would backstab a teammate, would cost far more than it gained. PFF. I couldn't hold back a laugh and reached out to poke her forehead. Are you dumb? Free money and you don't take it? Or do you really think you can win the top scorer spot if you go all out? The Zhao family's brains must have short-circuited. What's the point of buying you off? You really think it was you who carried the team through that abyss dungeon yesterday? This? Her face flushed crimson. It stung, but there wasn't a thing wrong with it. All right, drop the this and that. I waved a hand. Since they're willing to be the suckers, do them the favor. Take the money, and take the exam however you like. As long as I don't hold back, that top scorer spot has nothing to do with either of you. Seeing my nonchalant manner, Xia Qingyue's last bit of hesitation vanished like smoke. I understand, young Master Lin. She nodded hard, took out her phone, and left. Now that's more like it. Pick a fight with anyone, but never with money. Just then an aide hurried over, saluted, and lowered his voice. Captain Yi, Commander Zhao's troops have arrived too, and their Captain Zhang has business with you. Captain Zhang? Zhang Chao. Yi Hongyu's brow furrowed. Zhang Chao? Who's that big shot? I asked offhandedly. Young Master, Zhang Chao is the top captain under Zhao Lei, his most trusted confidant. Yi Hongyu looked toward the middle-aged man striding over in the distance. In other words, roughly the same standing on the Zhao side as Yi Hongyu held on ours. Zhang Chao was lean, with deep-set eyes that carried a sinister edge. Captain Yi, long time no see, as striking as ever. A smile that didn't reach his eyes. State your business. Yi Hongyu didn't even lift her eyelids, her voice icy. A monster tide's about to break out here. I don't have time for reminiscing. His gaze landed behind me. Dozens of people were setting up a temporary camp, the familiar big soft bed placed dead center, attendants laying out fruit platters and snacks, a chef tuning the grill in preparation for a wilderness barbecue. The corner of Zhang Chao's eye twitched hard a couple of times. He'd seen people grinding with an escort and rich kids out to experience life, but moving an entire home to the front line of a monster tide? That was a first. Tisk, so this is Commander Lin's son? Quite the production. Zhang Chao sneered inwardly. What good is brute force levels? Without matching skills and combat experience, he's just a glorified super soldier, and a blank slate with no affinity, no less. Pure waste of resources. Zhang Chao, if you're not going to use that mouth, I can sew it shut for you. Yi Hongyu said coldly, a short blade appearing in her hand. No, just joking. Zhang Chao raised his hands in surrender. I came to talk real business this time. He pointed toward the depths of the canyon. As is customary, for a large-scale disaster like this, we usually clear it jointly for maximum efficiency. But this time the situation's special. Your young master wants to grind levels, and so does our young master Zhao. Too many mouths, too little porridge. Mixing it up would inevitably mean fighting over kills and hurting the peace. So I suggest we keep to our own lanes. Take the canyon's central axis as the boundary. West is ours. East is yours. each relying on their own skill, no interference. As for that guaranteed wild boss spawn, a glint flashed in his eyes. Whoever tags it first claims it. The other side can't fight over it. How's that? Yi Hongyu didn't rush to answer. The proposal was indeed reasonable. Without dividing zones, two armies could end up in a standoff over a single elite monster. The first strike rule for boss ownership was also an unwritten convention in the circle, but with the young master present, she had no authority to decide on her own. Young master, what do you think of Zhang Chao's proposal? I didn't think much of it. Each does their own thing. The boss goes to whoever's strong enough. Nothing wrong with that. Sure, sounds reasonable. Our young master agrees. West is yours. East is ours. The boss goes to whoever's capable. Now, you can get lost. Yi Hongyu said. Splendid. Goal accomplished. Zhang Chao took a last glance at the grill and at me turning to head for the big bed, contempt in his heart. A young master who has to be spoon-fed, even at LV.100 he'll still be a useless wretch. Then I won't disturb young Master Lin's leisure. He turned and left. Zhao family camp. The atmosphere was grim and martial, hundreds of soldiers standing at the ready. Zhao Yu rested with his eyes closed. His phone buzzed, and he answered. Young Master Zhao, it's done. Xia Qingwei has accepted the 3 million and promised not to contend with you for the top scorer spot at the grand exam. A trace of contempt curled at the corner of Zhao Yu's mouth. Got it. He hung up offhandedly. A teammate sneered. Acted so high and mighty earlier, and still took the money in the end? Quite the act. TCH, my dad's making an unnecessary fuss, throwing away good money. Zhao Yu snorted coldly. So what if she led the team through an abyss dungeon? At the end of the day, she's just an A-rank water mage. Abyss dungeons of the same difficulty actually vary. That one's difficulty was surely very low. Otherwise, how could an A-rank water mage carry a team through it? On the strength of being first in the school in theory and combat, Sims before her awakening? Laughable. The gap between classes can't be made up by a little academic record. Exactly, the teammate agreed. The dungeon must have been too easy. In terms of damage, how could anyone match young Master Zhao, an S-rank blaze mage? Young Master Zhao's multi-burst fireball can already split into 5. No one in Zhanghai City can beat that. That 3 million was wasted. Just then Zhang Chao returned. Young Master Zhao settled it with the Lin family. West is ours. East is theirs. The boss follows the first strike rule. Whoever tags it first claims it. By the way, what's the situation over at Lin Mo's? What's he doing? Zhao Yu asked. That Lin family young master. Zhang Chao was a little speechless. Right now he should be lying in bed enjoying the easy life. And more than that, the maids and chef came along. The grill's even set up. Looks for all the world like he came on vacation. Compared to your professional readiness, young Master Zhao, the gap is just too vast. Ha! The teammate laughed first. Is this Lin young master right in the head? Why not just move his whole house over while he's at it? Really thinks high levels mean he can do whatever he wants? No skills, no combat experience. He's nothing. The contempt in Zhao Yu's eyes deepened, and he said flatly, I wouldn't put it quite like that. Blank slate or not. With level suppression, he could plausibly scrape into the city's top 10. He couldn't help sighing inwardly. Before his awakening, he'd always regarded Lin Mo as his biggest rival. The two families were of comparable standing, both fathers city defense commanders, the two of them compared since childhood. Back then Lin Mo, lazy as he was, had always stayed right on his heels in the rankings. But now Lin Mo was utterly washed up, while he himself was destined to enter a top academy and rise smoothly to the top. From the moment of awakening, they'd ceased to belong to the same world. To still treat him as a rival would be an outright insult to his own S-rank talent. Lin family camp. I lounged comfortably on the soft bed, 2 plush latex pillows propped behind me. An attendant peeled the skins off some chilled amethyst grapes, just air-freighted in, and arranged them on the fruit platter by the bed. Young master, give them a try. I pinched one and popped it into my mouth. Sweet, this deserves a reward. I casually handed over a few bills. Decadence, utter decadence. This damnable air of decadence, so good. Earth shield, trembling like mad. Master, I still feel it's too dangerous. This is a monster tide, after all. How about we go home? Fireball snaps back. Go home, my foot. There's food. There's drink, and there are monsters to kill here. This is heaven. Go home for what? Earth shield, but. All right, little Earth. I soothed it. Set your mind completely at ease. Everyone here is my people. A mere monster tide, not worth mentioning. Yi Hongyu came over with Shirtu and Ahu. Seeing me leisurely eating grapes, the three of them had no objection whatsoever. In their hearts, the young master's talent was without precedent. This relaxed, indulgent posture was, in their eyes, not a wastrel's laziness but the confidence born of absolute talent. Young master. Yi Hongyu opened an electronic map, her expression serious. Scouts just sent back intel. Wild monsters within a radius of hundreds of kilometers are all gathering this way. Levels LV.10 to 40, a wide variety of species. The first to arrive are the nearby low-level monsters, LV.1 to 10. After them come the big ones. LV.25 berserk giant bears. LV.30 venomous flying snakes. The last to arrive in this area are the LV.35 to 40 thundercloud storm eagles, high-tier flying magic beasts from the northern thundercloud peak, extremely fast, with ranged lightning attacks. Fairly hard to deal with. By the time they appear, the boss will have spawned too. Shirtu stepped up. Young master, killing monsters more than 10 levels above your own gives decayed EXP. Once those LV.25 and up monsters arrive, especially the LV.40 storm eagles, the EXP you'd get from killing them is negligible, terrible value for effort, and with that level gap, you'd have a hard time dealing effective damage anyway. So, Yi Hongyu picked up, for the early monsters below LV.35, we'll beat them down and deliver them for you to reap, helping you level up fast. Once the high-level flying monsters show up later, our top priority will be to kill them outright and ensure your absolute safety. Sure, I'll go with what you say, safety first. Indeed, the level gap on those final flying beasts was too high. Force-feeding them would be dangerous, and even with a sliver of HP left, I might not break their defenses. Young master, the most crucial thing is that guaranteed wild boss spawn. Yi Hongyu paused. HQ estimates this boss is LV.25 to 40. Even with decayed EXP, eating the entire boss's EXP yourself would be considerable. As long as we take it before the Zhao family does, your level could very likely reach LV.16 or even LV.17. My eyes lit up. In past years, most class holders at the grand exam are around LV.10, a few at LV.13 to 15. If I were LV.16, that would mean towering over the competition at the exam. So how do we find this boss? Usually it comes down to luck or a carpet search, Yi Hongyu said. But it also depends on the boss's element. If it's Earth element, Shirtu as an S-rank Earth affinity can sense and lock onto it first thing. If it's Fire element, that Zhao Yu of the Zhao family can sense it too. So this is a contest of both strength and luck. It dawned on me. So it comes down to elemental sensing. Doesn't that leave a blank slate like me blind? No. Wait. That little fireball may have a foul temper, but its sense is keener than a dog's nose. And the coward little Earth, for the sake of self-preservation, has a monstrous sensitivity to its surroundings. If it really comes down to sensing, I'm maybe not so badly off. Just then an aide ran over and saluted. Reporting, Captain Yi. The first wave of the monster tide has reached 3 kilometers ahead, mainly wasteland wolves and fanged rabbits. Yi Hongyu's expression turned grave as she instantly snapped into combat mode. Per the plan. Shirtu, take a team to the east side. Ahu, take people to the west. I'll stay and guard the young master. The moment you spot any sign of the boss, signal immediately. Yes. Everyone accepted the order and left. The camp was suddenly down to just me, a few attendants, and Yi Hongyu. Yi Hongyu drew her short blade and stood guard at the camp entrance, waiting for her subordinates to deliver the low HP monsters. Fireball, already unable to restrain itself, roars with excitement. It's finally coming. So many monsters lining up to die, and a feast to eat. This is the life. This lord is simply the happiest skill under heaven, and becoming a forbidden spell is just around the corner. This time, I backed the right person. Earth shield, trembling. Lunatic. This many monsters, what if they break the line? Fireball, contemptuous, what do you know? Slaughter is the ladder to evolution. Little fire, since you're enjoying this so much, how about another daddy for me to hear? The urge to tease it rose again. Fireball instantly freezes, struggling intensely within. That's going too far. Didn't I say it last night? This lord has dignity too. Oh, dignity, huh? I thought about it. Then how about plain stir-fried shredded potato for dinner tonight? Haven't had it in a while. Earth Shield overjoyed, yay. I love potatoes. Fireball. 2 seconds later, a voice carrying a touch of humiliation came through. Fireball, they. Sunset Canyon, West Side, Zhao Family Defense Zone. Roar. Several LV.8 wolf-type wild monsters lunged at Zhao Yu. Zhao Yu's expression was cold and stern as he deftly repositioned, red light blazing on his staff. Multi-burst fireball. Whoosh. A huge fireball split in midair into 5 head-sized fireballs that slammed precisely into the demon wolves. Boom, boom, boom. 5 blasts, and those wild monsters were blown charred and flying before they could even cry out. Beautiful. Young Master Zhao's 5 split is masterful. A teammate immediately offered up flattery. Stable 5-way splitting not long after awakening. That damage is just terrifying. Panting heavily, Zhao Yu pulled a vial of blue mana potion from his waist and downed it. Even with S-rank affinity, frequent use of advanced skills drains a lot, but he relished this proof of growing stronger. A scout aide ran up. How's Lin Mo doing? Zhao Yu asked casually. Deep down, he still didn't quite want to believe Lin Mo had become this thoroughly washed up. A rival since childhood, even awakening a blank slate. He couldn't fail to understand that raw levels with no combat skill are useless. The aide's face was odd. Young Master Lin is lying in bed watching a movie, with maids feeding him fruit beside him. Then a wall of earth suddenly went up, blocking the view, and all we could see was a steady stream of low HP monsters being thrown inside the wall. A wall of earth. Zhao Yu's brow furrowed. Probably that Shidu's handiwork. The security's absurdly over the top. He scoffed and shook his head. Washed up, utterly washed up. To think I once treated him as a sworn rival and trained myself to the bone to surpass him, treating someone like him as a rival is an outright insult to me. Disgusting, truly disgusting. He turned his attention away from over there, his fighting spirit growing even fiercer instead. Too slow. This trickle of monsters isn't enough to kill. Next wave, pull them all over. I'll take on 10. Sunset Canyon, East Side, Lin Family Camp. Fireball roars. 1? You throw over just 1? Are you insulting this lord? Here, 3 thick walls of earth 5 meters tall stood like a fortress hemming me in. I lay on my side, holding a glass of chilled watermelon juice, an attendant having propped a tablet beside me playing a comedy movie. Slurp. I took a sip of watermelon juice, at ease. Atop the 5-meter earth wall, Yihong Yu stood ramrod straight, keeping watch from on high. Young Master, monster incoming. She'd barely finished when Ahu hurled a broken-legged wasteland demon wolf in over the wall with great force. Boom. A fireball blasted out, instant kill. Fireball protests. This lord said I want to take on 10. What's the point of 1 at a time? Sissy, throw in more. Send over a dozen or so at once. I called up to the top of the wall. Yihong Yu paused. She'd never seen my multi-burst fireball. Last night the monsters weren't dense, mostly sent over 1 or 2 at a time. The young master's micro was unbeatable, but this many at once, if it spun out of control, was extremely dangerous. It's fine, throw them all you want. If something goes wrong, I'll take responsibility. I waved a hand. She said no more. Worst case, she'd just be careful. She still had the strength to instantly vaporize a dozen-odd low-level monsters, and shouted beyond the wall. 15. Throw them all at once. The dozen-odd people outside the wall paused, then heaved together. A full 15 half-dead wild monsters cleared the high wall and dropped toward the open ground to the right of the bed. Yihong Yu's hand gripped her blade hilt, muscles taut. The moment the young master couldn't handle it, she'd have to descend from above and clear the field. But the next second, an orange-red fireball screamed out, and the instant it flew it shuddered violently and disassembled in midair. 1, 5, 10, 15. A dense swarm of small fireballs locked precisely onto every wild monster in the air. Boom, 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 boom. Multi-burst fireball. Atop the wall, Yihong Yu had the most stunning vantage point. She watched with her own eyes as those 15 fireballs, like homing missiles with independent minds, crisscrossed through the air and instantly wiped out the entire monster pack in one wave. Comprehending multi-burst fireball was one thing, but splitting into 15 at once? As far as she knew, the Zhao family's Zhao you could split into 4 or 5 at most, and even that was famous throughout all of Zhonghai City. Truly worthy of my young master, she murmured. This composure, this talent, that so-called S rank of the Zhao family isn't even fit to put on the young master's shoes. She looked down at the fire-lit me, lounging unrestrained on my side, eyes fixed on the tablet, utterly unmoved by the 15-kill streak. This is the bearing of a powerhouse, unchanged in expression even as a mountain collapses before him. Fireball howls at the sky sweet. This is the spectacle this lord deserves. The art of that explosion, simply perfect. Again, Earth Shield, voice teary. No, that many monsters at once. What if one slips through? Master, it's too dangerous. Fireball, enraged. Dangerous? One slipping through? Are you questioning this lord's strength? Earth Shield curls into a ball. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Master. Master, how about fewer monsters at a time? Fireball trembles with fury. Watching the skill list about to come to blows, I helplessly played mediator. All right, both of you quit it. Little Earth, you have to trust your big brother. He's reckless, but his work is meticulous. And Little Fire, rein it in a bit. Don't scare your little brother. He means well for me too. Earth Shield, Fireball, TCH. The two icons each turned away to opposite sides, back to back, ignoring each other. My mouth twitched. These days, awakening a class isn't easy. I even have to mediate the relationship between my skills. The sky grew darker. Young master, incoming monsters. Shirtu hollered, and a dozen odd black shapes were flung inside the wall, flames shooting skyward, explosions rising one after another, then settling into quiet a moment later. Shirtu wiped his sweat, looking at the leisurely me with eyes full of admiration. The young master's talent, no one can match it. Lazy, sure, but driven, and with extremely high safety awareness. Even with us here, he still put up an earth wall first thing. Yihong Yu nodded. In the wild, caution sometimes matters more than strength. With the young master's talent and awareness, he's sure to become a great figure someday. A scout aide came racing in. Report, Captain Yi. We've detected a flock of thundercloud storm eagles, huge in number, blotting out the sky. They're 5 kilometers out. Finally here. Shirtu glanced at the sky. This is the last wave. By the usual pattern, once these birds pass, the wild boss will spawn. Yihong Yu's gaze hardened, and she gave a sharp order. Everyone, this wave we don't beat them down. Kill them outright, and protect the young master at all costs. Yes. She turned to look at me inside the wall. Young master, the last wave of thundercloud storm eagles will arrive any moment. Generally LV.35 and up, the level gap is too large, the EXP decay severe, and even at your current level it'd be extremely hard to break their defenses and reap them. Don't act this wave, just rest easy and leave it to us. I looked up at the sky, dark clouds gathering, thunder closing in, and opened my panel. Level, LV.15, 12%. An afternoon of frenzied reaping had sent my EXP soaring. Sure, I'll go with what Sissy says. Just then Earth Shield got restless. Earth Shield, trembling, sinking into anxiety as it stares at the wholly exposed sky overhead. We have walls, but no roof. What if they attack from above? Master, let's run. It's not safe here. Fireball contemptuous. Run my foot. So what if their level's high? Anything that dares fly in, I'll burn it one by one. Come in pairs, and I'll burn them by twos. Earth Shield despairing. All you know how to do is brag. Those are LV.35, plus, we're only LV.15. All right. Bickered into a headache, I stepped in to mediate. Little Earth, Sis Yi and the others are guarding outside. A few birds can't get in. We can't leave for now. There's still a boss to spawn, and that's a lot of EXP. Earth Shield still muttering. But it really is so empty overhead. What if one slips through? I'm so anxious. I rolled my eyes and just ignored the coward, closing my eyes to rest. Call. A black mass of dark clouds swept in from the depths of the canyon. Thousands upon thousands of giant eagles with wingspans over 3 meters, electric arcs leaping among their deep purple feathers. All units ready. Range skills, bring them down for me. Yihon Yu barked from atop the wall. In an instant, multi-shot arrows, explosive arrows, wind blades, and frost spikes flew all at once, the multicolored skill light lighting the dim sky bright as day. Rumble rumble, skills collided with the monster flock, bursting into clusters of fireworks. Countless storm eagles struck down. But this flock of flying magic beasts was too numerous, and unlike the ground monsters, they didn't charge mindlessly. They wheeled in the air, dodged nimbly, and spat lightning in counterattack. Ahu kept drawing his bow atop the wall, wary of any that slipped through. But there were simply too many, and a gap finally opened in the line. Caw! An elite-grade storm eagle wreathed in dense lightning. On its monstrous speed, forcibly dodged 3 wind blades and a burst arrow, and though lightly wounded, ferociously broke through the blockade, charging straight for my bed. Young master, careful! Yihong Yu was dealing with 2 storm eagles flanking her. Catching it in her peripheral vision, her expression changed sharply, too late to turn back. The elite storm eagle screeched into a dive, fast enough to drag a sonic boom through the air. Earth Shield shrieks like a slaughtered pig. Aya, it's coming. I told you overhead wasn't safe. I, on the other hand, was calm. With this many big shots around, I really don't believe this beast can touch a single hair on my head. Beast, don't even think about hurting my young master. Shida's eyes went wide, his mana surging. Die for me. Boom. A sharp stone spike thick as a bull's mouth drilled up from underground, ran the storm eagle clean through the chest, and pinned it dead in midair, blood dripping down the spike. Shirtu panted and wiped off the dust, then turned back and grinned. Young master, didn't scare you, did it? Brother Shirtu, steady. I gave him a thumbs up. The crisis was resolved, but that pressure from so close at hand carved itself deep into Earth Shield's heart. Earth Shield beside itself. That was terrifying, just a hair's breadth away. What if that big oaf had been 1 second slower? No matter how high the wall, without a roof it's a sitting duck. What to do? But to roof it over. It frets nearly to tears. The principle of Earth Flow Wall is to channel leyline energy into a vertical eruption, to make the earth and stone turn 90 degrees sideways midair to cap a roof. So hard. Fireball sneers. You're not just a coward, you're a good-for-nothing toot. Listening to this muttering, I was exasperated and grumbled offhandedly. Are you dumb? If you can't cap a roof, just burrow underground and be done with it. Earth Shield abruptly freezes. Earth Shield, struck by sudden enlightenment. Oh, right. Sunset Canyon, Lin family camp. My heart did a flip. Wait, Little Earth, calm down. I was just saying that offhand. Earth Shield overjoyed. My God, Master is simply a genius. How did I not think of it? As long as we burrow into the earth, who could possibly harm Master? It's frantically analyzing the structure of the earth. As long as I change the density of the surrounding earth element and liquefy the hard rock into quicksand. Seeing it enter a state of self-absorbed obsession, I jerked upright. Little Earth, I need to breathe. There's no oxygen underground. That could kill someone, you know? Underground was dark and damp, maybe even crawling with bugs, and I had no desire to hide down there. But it was already beyond hearing. In its view, this was another of Master's Pointer's oxygen. Just maintain a small pocket of space and surface to swap air every so often. Earth Shield shuts out all external interference, fully absorbed in deduction. This is bad. My mouth twitched. Congratulations. Because your skill is extremely lacking in security, it has deduced the advanced Earth skill. Earth Dive, low intermediate. Earth Dive. Meld into the earth and move freely underground, able to carry objects within a certain range along with you. The stronger the mental energy, the longer the duration, cooldown 15 minutes. Earth Shield cackles, haha, Master is too incredible. A single word, and the dreamer awakens. The words had barely landed when the ground beneath me went soft, the solid earth instantly turning loose and flowing, and that custom-made big bed sank downward at an astonishing speed. The attendant beside me was utterly dumbstruck, watching helplessly as the earth swallowed me, bed and all, reaching out to grab me, and clutching only empty air. Young master. I had time only for one glance at the rapidly shrinking sky overhead and that terror-stricken face. Oh, come on. Whoosh. The soil churned and closed over, the ground returning to a smooth surface, as if nothing had ever happened. Atop the 5-meter earth wall, Yi Hongyu cut down a flying beast with a backhand slash. The storm eagle flock was mostly cleared now. Shirtu suddenly jolted, looking down at his feet, an unusually heavy ripple coming from deep underground. As an S-rank Earth affinity, he knew this kind of ripple all too well. This feeling, it's here. What is it? An Earth element boss. Yi Hongyu turned her head. Yes, this pure Earth element ripple. There's no mistaking it. This wild boss is Earth attribute. Shirtu said with certainty. You know its location? Before an Earth boss spawns, it frantically draws in leyline energy, making the underground Earth element flow into a giant vortex. Follow the flow to the center of the vortex, and that's the spawn point. How many people can your Earth dive carry? Yi Hongyu asked. About 120 kilograms. I can take you and the young master at the same time. Shirtu said proudly. Good. Yi Hongyu nodded, a small boss, and with the young master along, she and Shirtu could easily beat it down to a sliver of HP and leave it for the young master to reap. This one was a sure thing. The two turned at the same time and froze at the same time. Where's the young master? That enormous bed? That enormous living person? Yi Hongyu's expression changed sharply, and she leapt down from the 5-meter wall in a flash, landing in front of the attendant. Where did the young master go? Her voice carried a rare urgency. This was the heavily protected interior of the camp. How could anyone have spirited the young master away right under her nose? The young master. He sank down. The attendant pointed at the smooth patch of ground, trembling. Just now, the earth suddenly turned like water, and the young master, bed and all, went whoosh and dropped down, and then the ground closed itself back up. Shirtu and Yi Hongyu looked at each other, each seeing the shock in the other's eyes. Earth turning to water, burrowing into the ground, leaving no hole behind. Why did that description sound so familiar? This is Earth Dive. Shirtu cried out, crouching down and pressing both hands to the ground to sense. A few seconds later, he looked up as if he'd seen a ghost. Captain Yi, it really is Earth Dive. He swallowed, his whole worldview collapsing. Comprehending Earth flow wall within a single day, then immediately comprehending Earth Dive too? What kind of freak was this? And what made his scalp prickle even more? That solid wood bed weighed at least 300 or 400 kilograms, and he, an S-rank Earth mage, could carry only 120 kilograms at a time. Yet young Master Lin, having just comprehended it, took the whole bed down with him, and the young master had dived underground a step ahead of him, which meant the young master's elemental perception was far above his own as an S-rank Earth mage. Why? The young master must have decided this boss was too weak and figured he could solo it with a bed in tow. Too insane, too confident. Is this the unyielding pride of a top-tier genius? Stop spinning theories. Yi Hongyu cut him off. Hurry. Take me to follow. The young master can't come to any harm. Right. Hold on tight, Captain Yi. Yellowish-brown light flared as Shirtu plunged into the earth with Yi Hongyu. Sunset Canyon, west side, Zhao family line. Zhao Yu killed a pangolin that had snuck an attack with a single fireball, then looked around irritably. The time was about right. The boss should be spawning, yet he couldn't sense a thing. Looked like it wasn't fire attribute. An A-rank Earth mage aide rushed up. Young Master Zhao? An extremely terrifying Earth element ripple just came from deep underground. The Lin family's S-rank Earth mage has surely sensed it earlier than us. We have to get over there now. Zhao Yu's heart skipped. A step too slow, and that massive EXP would have nothing to do with him. And if it got taken by Lin Mo, that idle heir on vacation, it'd disgust him so much he wouldn't sleep for 3 days. What are we waiting for? Use your Earth Dive to take me, move out. I can carry 80 kilograms. Taking you, young master, is no problem. The aide immediately cast it, and wrapped in earthen yellow light, the two sank into the ground. Deep underground. Blurg. I was jostled until my head spun and my eyes blurred. Fireball was probably puking its guts out too. That luxury bed was like a little dinghy that had lost its rudder, pitching wildly in the violent torrent of earth element, soil, and rock streaking past outside the protective shell like liquid. Slow down. Are you trying to get yourself reincarnated? I clung to the bed's headboard railing for dear life, jolted until I was thoroughly scrambled. Just moments ago, it was a serene vacation, and in the blink of an eye, it was a journey to the center of the earth. Fireball, enraged. Can you even drive? My brains are about to get shaken into a smoothie. Can't you see that giant rock? You hit it. Hit it again. What kind of garbage is this, making this Lord ride such a junk heap of a car? Turn, would you? Earth shield, panicking. I don't want this either. There's a huge suction pulling us. I can't control it. Bam! The big bed slammed into a layer of granite. I told you not to come down, but you wouldn't listen. Where is this even going? I was at my wit's end, ready to weep. Earth shield aggrieved. Wah. Master, I didn't expect it to be like this down here either. That suction's too strong, like it's pulling us somewhere. Just then, the narrow passage ahead suddenly opened up, and a massive underground undercurrent swept the big bed, surging frantically upward. Earth shield alarmed. Hold on tight. Master, we're about to take off. Take off, my ass. I shouted, wrapping myself up tight in the quilt. Boom. The earth burst apart. A patch of flat ground in Sunset Canyon instantly bulged into a huge mound and erupted like a volcano, blasting one luxury bed along with a sky full of dust and stone a dozen-odd meters into the air, then slamming it hard back down to the ground. Thankfully, Earth Shield had it protected, so the bed didn't fall apart and I was unharmed. Cough, cough. I poked my head out of the quilt, every bone in my body ready to come loose. You little Earth. Before I could finish, a terrifying pressure bore down. I jerked my head up. A 10-meter giant of obsidian and crimson magma, scorching ley-line lava flowing all over its body. A pair of millstone-sized eyes flashing with brutal red light, fixed dead on this little worm that had popped out of the ground. Earth Vein, Lava Titan, Lord Grade Boss. LV.40 gathers the ley-line essence of Sunset Canyon. Extremely high defense. Immune to most crowd control. Eyes met, and the air froze. I looked at that purple-tinged level marker and swallowed. LV.40, a Lord Grade Boss? Is this something I can fight at this stage? I'm only LV.15. This is the let me hide for a bit you were talking about. My heart turned to ash. Earth Shield scared dumb. I didn't know either. This is just where that suction ended up. It breaks down crying. LV.40. One look, and you can tell we can't win. Master, run. It tries to dive into the earth again, but the skill's already on cooldown. Fireball, instantly enraged. Flames leaping, run? Run, my foot. So what if it's LV.40? This lord is going to become a forbidden spell. Gods who block get killed. Buddhas who block get killed. I really wanted to give it a backhand slap. Are you out of your mind? A 25-level suppression. Isn't that just letting it use us for a spa scrape? Kill gods who block. Why don't you fly to the moon while you're at it? But little Fireball was already past restraint. Pew! A fireball blasted out with an I'm number one under heaven swagger. Boom! A flash of fire, and clearly, it amounted to a light back scratch. Low damage, extremely insulting. The lava titan instantly flew into a rage, raising a giant foot, lava churning beneath it, the heat wave bearing down. There was no running now. Our only option was to fight. My eyes hardened, a streak of ferocity surging up, even a cornered rabbit bites. You really think I'm a soft persimmon? Little fire, get it. Fireball cackles. Now that's more like it. Get it. Hum. I raised my hand. A dark red point of light condensing at my fingertip, compressed to the extreme, spun to the extreme. Boom. A dark red spiral beam blasted out at blazing speed, and the terrifying explosion actually forced the lava titan back a step. But that was all. The chasm of levels was too vast. Little Earth. I warred. Earth Shield may be a coward, may fear death, but it fears Master getting hurt even more. It roars. I'll protect Master to the death. Rumble, rumble. A thick earth wall shot up from the ground, shielding me firmly behind it. Just then, young Master. We made it in time. Two figures came racing in at top speed. You dare touch my young Master? I'll kill you. Shitta's eyes went bloodshot, veins bulging. Rumble, rumble. Countless giant spear-like stone spikes stabbed up frantically from underground, and the lava titan, roaring just moments ago, was instantly skewered into a honeycomb, left with only a sliver of HP. Young master, finish it off, quick. I didn't waste words. A fireball screamed out and slammed precisely into it. Killed Earth Vein, Lava Titan, Lord Grade Boss. Level difference of 25, EXP decayed. Gained EXP plus 78,651. Congratulations. Level increased to LV.17, 5%. After everything was settled, Shirtu and Yihongyu looked at me. They'd just arrived, and the first thing they saw was me, alone, bravely battling the lava titan across a 25-level gap, facing that 25-level suppression and that suffocating difference in size, without retreating in the slightest, even diving underground proactively to take on the boss. This was an arrogance that dared swing a blade at the gods, the true bearing of the invincible, the air of a powerhouse who could one day stand atop the world. Sunset Canyon, Boss Ruins. The smoke of battle cleared. Yihongyu strode over, and only after confirming that aside from slightly mussed hair, I was completely unharmed did she let out a long breath. Young master, I'm glad you're all right, but this time you really were too rash. Shirtu came up too, his expression grave. Young master, I understand that craving to challenge your limits alone, to seek a breakthrough between life and death. But this is a LV.40 wild boss. After all, since you detected it first thing with your formidable perception, you should absolutely have notified us first, instead of taking it head-on by yourself. Young master, if Shirtu had been half a second slower, how would we have answered to Commander Lin? Yihongyu nodded. I fell silent. Challenge my limits alone. Seek a breakthrough between life and death. Take on a LV.40 boss head-on by myself? I didn't take on a damn thing. I was lying perfectly comfortably in bed and got inexplicably delivered right in front of this thing. But things had come to this, so all I could do was swallow my tears and own the scene. I patted the dust off my sleeve and gave a faint smile. It was nothing. I sensed the boss from the bed, had a sudden flash of inspiration and comprehended a new skill, got an itch to test it, and ended up getting sucked over here. Good thing Brother Shirtu and Sissy arrived in time. I worried you both. Won't happen again. Yihongyu and Shirtu exchanged a glance. Both moved. Their young master not only had heaven-defying talent, he had the invincible spirit to face a LV.40 lord at LV.15, and afterward he could still apologize so approachably to his subordinates and promise it wouldn't happen again. Neither arrogant nor rash, humble and open-minded. This is the true bearing of a great commander. Young master, you overstated. Protecting you is our duty. Shirtu's nose stung with emotion. Yihongyu bowed. Young master, you put us to shame. It's nothing, we're all family. I smiled and waved, but inwardly I was roaring, Little Earth. Get out here. Earth Shield, cowering in the farthest corner of the panel, trembling. Moss. Master, I was wrong. Wrong? Do you realize you nearly sent your master to his grave? I gritted my teeth. From now on you obey my orders. When I say no burrowing, no burrowing. Pull another stunt like that, and I'll have Little Fire bake you into a ceramic tile, believe it. Fireball gloating. Haha, happy to oblige. Earth Shield scared out of its wits. No. Big brother, no? I swear I'll never burrow on my own again. I'll strictly obey master's orders. That's more like it. I rolled my eyes. My own skills, each one more of a handful than the last. I can only hope the future water, wood, and lightning ones give me less grief. Being a mage lord is really hard. Just then, the ground not far off stirred, and two bedraggled figures drilled up from underground. None other than Zhao Yu and his earth element aide. PFF, cough cough. The moment Zhao Yu surfaced, he spat out a mouthful of mud and grit, filthy and disheveled. Why's the underground route so bumpy blurred? He took one look at the huge pile of rubble behind us and instantly realized the boss was already gone. Yo, if it isn't young Master Zhao. I gave a brilliant smile. Quite a distinctive look. Seems the tunnel was rough going. Zhao Yu stared hard at the boss corpse, his eyes full of resentment. Such rotten luck. Why would it spawn an earth element boss, of all things? His side had talents of every element, but earth was the one area where they fell short of the Lin family. He forced down his fury and said coldly, "Humph, Lin Mo, raw levels with no matching combat experience or proficiency. You're just a glorified super soldier. Having your family spoon-feed you. This is the only way you'd level up." With that, he flung his sleeve and turned to leave. The feeling was like toiling away farming, only for the idle heir next door who suns himself on vacation all day to get a better harvest and steal your land. The massive EXP of a LV.40 boss, snatched away just like that by some guy on vacation. Disgusting. Shirtu gave a contemptuous TCH. Loses to someone and blames luck and the boss's element? Even if it spawned a fire element one, he might not have outsped our young master. Yi Hongyu sneered. With a heart that narrow, he'll never amount to much. The gap between him and the young master is not small at all. Just then, the two skills got restless again. Fireball, twitching its non-existent nose. So fragrant. Such an enticing smell. It's the smell of growing stronger. Earth Shield, also looking enraptured. Master, master. I smell it too. Such a warm earth aura. Both skills reacting at once. Could there be something good? I turned to look at the Lava Titan's ruins. Brother Shirtu, Sisyi, let's check over there. Looks like something good dropped. Drawing closer, a cluster of light woven of red and yellow met my eyes. One look and Shirtu jolted hard. Holy crap, a chaos lava heart. Yi Hongyu lost her composure too, her face full of disbelief. A dual attribute treasure of earth and fire. If I remember right, this is the Dragon Nation's first one this year, isn't it? Damn, this luck is too good. Before Shirtu could finish, smack. Yi Hongyu slapped the back of his head. Watch your language. Shirtu clutched his head and corrected himself. I mean me. I'm a dog. With luck like this, I'd happily be a dog. I picked up the spoil. Item, Chaos Lava Heart, legendary. Contains the ultimate essence of fire element and earth element. An exceedingly rare dual attribute supreme treasure. Brother Shirtu, is this thing useful? Useful doesn't begin to cover it. This is a priceless treasure, used to comprehend a combination skill. Shirtu was so excited he slapped his thigh. Combination skill? I blinked. That's right, young master. A so-called combination skill fuses two different elemental powers to give birth to a super-tier skill that carries the traits of both, Shirtu said. Skills like this are usually masterable only by top-tier combatants. To comprehend a combination skill, you must have high-rated affinity in two elements, Yi Hongyu added. The vast majority of mages have single-element affinity. Shirtu, for example, is S-rank Earth, and for fire all he can do is toss out a fireball. Right? Shirtu said with a wry smile. Only the legendary hidden classes, like a Thunderflame mage with S-rank affinity in both lightning and fire, have the innate conditions to even attempt it. And to comprehend a combination skill, this kind of elemental material is the essential mediating catalyst. Without it, success is impossible. So this thing is hard to buy? I'm used. Priced but never available, Shirtu said. That Chaos Lava Heart in your hand should be the very first one our Dragon Nation has produced this year. He glanced at Yi Hongyu. It is indeed the first this year. Yi Hongyu nodded. Put something like this on display and the nation's top combatants will fight over it like mad. Not just mages, but high-tier magic swordsmen and elemental archers need it too. Single-element ones are very rare too, Shirtu added. The complete lava behemoth heart being awarded to this exam's city top scorer is a single-element material. It greatly improves the success rate of comprehending mid to high-tier elemental skills. Good grief, my luck really is a little heaven-defying. Inexplicably dropped underground, inexplicably killed a boss, and out drops the nation's first limited edition release of the year? Just then the two skills blew up. Fireball, face full of disdain. Make this lord do a combination skill with this coward? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Earth Shield, shaking its head furiously. As if I'd want to team up with a brute like you. Master, I protest. I ignored them. How could I not use something this incredible? At the end of the day, they're my skills, here to serve me. Since when do they get to be picky? Young master, but even if you use it, comprehension isn't guaranteed. Usually you'd use it at a high level, when you have a deep grasp of both elements, for a higher success rate. Shirtu was still going on at length. Crack, a crisp shattering sound cut him off. The two of them froze simultaneously and looked at my hand. Red and yellow streams of light flowed out between my fingers and instantly bored into my body. My hand slipped. I scratched my head innocently. Shido's mouth fell open, his heart spasming. Priced, but never available. The Dragon Nation's first this year. And he just used it? You're only what level, my young master? The success rate right now must be rock bottom. But a panel notification surfaced. Under the matchmaking of the Chaos Lava Heart, the Fire Element and Earth Element were forced into a none-too-friendly meeting. Fireball roars, "You coward, why are you all sand?" Earth Shield shrieks, "Hot, hot, hot. You brute, can you rein the fire in a little?" After fierce friction and reorganization, congratulations. You have successfully comprehended the Fire-Earth dual combination skill, Lava Battle Armor. Lava Battle Armor summons core lava to cover your whole body, forming impregnable armor, greatly boosting all attributes. While the armor is active, basic attacks carry additional fire attribute damage. Lasts 5 minutes, cooldown 1 hour. It worked just like that? I was a little stunned too, then it dawned on me. A normal person comprehending a combination skill has to carefully balance two utterly different elements. But my skills have brains. The Chaos Lava Heart forcibly stuffed Fireball and Earth Shield into one room, and they could only instinctively find the most perfect point of fusion on their own. Fireball wails in despair. "This lord is noble flame. Why must I wear this hideous thing? And this lord is damage. Only cowards wear armor. Kill me, and I still won't wear it." Earth Shield aggrieved. "Master, this form flames all over. Way too conspicuous. No sense of security at all. How about we don't wear it?" I ignored them outright. I'm the master. Who cares whether they're willing? Boom. A terrifying heat wave erupted with me at its center, and slabs of pitch-black obsidian rapidly fitted themselves to the surface of my body, scorching lava flowing through the armor's seams, the high heat warping even the air. I looked for all the world like a primordial demon god stepping out of volcanic lava. I looked down at this getup and clenched a fist. Cool. Incredibly cool. But this way, am I really going to be a melee mage from now on? Forget it. Melee was too tiring, much better to lob skills from afar. I'd just treat it as a new defensive skill. Shirtu and Yihong Yu instinctively backed up several steps, staring at me in shock. Is this what a genius is? God-tier skills given out at the click of a button? It was a good while before Yihong Yu came back to herself. Looking at me, armor dismissed, reverted to that lazy youth. She gave a wry smile, the deep sense of helplessness an ordinary person feels facing a true freak of talent. "Young master, it's getting late. We should head back. With your current strength, plus this monstrous combination skill, tomorrow's grand exam will be enough for you to dominate the whole field. Get a good rest tonight." "True. Time to head back. I'm starving." I nodded. Fireball, flames flickering wildly. Food, food. This lord wants fire dragon liver, blaze rhino. Earth Shield, weakly. "Master, I'm hungry too. Is there any of that aged leyline stone marrow? I want to eat that." These two were quite shrewd. Knowing it was useless to resist the combination skill in front of me, they tactfully dropped the subject. Since they were being so tactful, I wouldn't be unreasonable either. "Sure, you'll both have some. I'm in a good mood today. Fire dragon liver, leyline marrow, whatever's in the house. All you can eat." Yihong Yu took out her phone to tell her subordinates to bring a car, then fell into thought. Once back, she'd have to report the young master's day to Commander Lin and the madam. But where to even begin? The surprises the young master had given her today were simply too many. Zhanghai City, a Lin family villa. The night was deep, the estate ablaze with lights. The luxury motorcade rolled through the carved gate and stopped before the fountain. The maids on both sides bowed in unison. "Welcome home, young master." I'd just stepped one leg out when my mother Sue one hurried over. "Moa." Even in loungewear, she couldn't hide her grace. She grabbed my hand, and looking at my mussed hair, her eyes reddened. "Io, filthy and disheveled. You really suffered." "Mom, I'm fine, just a little sleepy." I smiled and let her pull me along. "Fine is all that matters." She patted the back of my hand tenderly. "Dinner's still being prepared. Go take a bath and relax first, then eat in comfort." "You got it, Mom." I nodded, then turned back and waved at Yihong Yu, who'd just gotten out. "Sissy, you go rest too." "Yes, young master." Seeing me leave, Suwon turned and held Yi Hongyu back. Hongyu, tell me what Mo ran into today. Why is he in such a sorry state? Madam, the young master's day was somewhat astonishing. I think it'd be best for the commander to hear it together. Yi Hongyu bowed. All right, old Lin's in the study, come. Suwon blinked and nodded. Second floor bathroom. Steam curled in the air. I leaned against the side of the tub and let out a long sigh. So comfortable. The attendant had long since prepared the water temperature and a bathrobe. After soaking a good while, much of my fatigue dissolved. I fished a few bills out of the clothing pocket by the tub. A reward for you all. Buy yourselves some snacks. This is the treatment a transmigrator deserves. All that fighting and killing. Isn't it for moments of enjoyment like this? Though I'd long been used to such treatment, born with a golden spoon in my mouth, after all. First floor study. After hearing Yi Hongyu's report, the study sank into a brief silence. Lin Tianhao took a hard pull on his long-extinguished cigar, only to find it had no fire, tossed it aside, and lit another, trying to steady himself. So, Mo is already LV.17 now. For an ordinary class holder, hitting LV.17 in 3 days was sheer fantasy. But for the Lin family, it wasn't the most astonishing part. The key was Lin Mo's comprehension. Suwon's face was full of disbelief as she counted off on her fingers. Mo's gone too far. In under 3 days, the fire element multi-burst fireball and blazing spiral dragon bolt, the earth element earth flow wall, and earth dive. The more she counted, the more alarmed she grew. He even comprehended the fire-earth combination skill lava battle armor, a god-tier skill that's both offensive and defensive, usable for a long stretch. Yi Hongyu said nothing, but she was equally shaken. She understood all too well what this meant. In 3 days, never mind an S rank. Even an SS rank genius could comprehend 3 skills at most. And Lin Mo? A full 4, plus a dual-element combination skill. This was practically SSS rank. No, talent far beyond SSS rank. He'll be LV.20 soon, Lin Tianhao said, taking a deep drag. Just about able to learn a new basic skill again. In this world, you could learn a new basic skill every 10 levels. Mages, limited by elemental mastery and all specialized in one element, gained almost nothing from the new basic skill at each 10-level mark. But Lin Mo was different. He had no mastery, yet his comprehension and application of both fire and earth already surpassed countless geniuses. He looked at Suwon, unable to hide his anticipation. He's playing both fire and earth like a virtuoso. He can learn a 3rd skill any moment now. Honey, you think Mo can keep being this ridiculous? That can't be, right? Suwon reflexively countered. For Mo to reach this level of attainment in both fire and earth is already heaven feeding him a meal. Could he really be a 3-element genius too? Honey, you're forgetting the most important point. Lin Tianhao blew a smoke ring. Mo is a blank slate mage. He has no elemental mastery. It clicked for Suwon. If he could play fire and earth like a virtuoso without mastery, that meant he could play the other elements like a virtuoso too. Her breathing quickened. Old Lin, you're saying Mo might become an all-element mage god in the future? This is unprecedented. Yi Hongyu's scalp prickled. An all-element mage god. There's never been such a thing in this world. The greatest one ever was only a 3-element mage god, and even one of those 3 elements was merely upper mid-level. Which element he learns for his 3rd skill, let's leave to Mo himself. Suwon calmed down a bit. With a genius like this, we needn't restrict him too much, just give him support. Honey's right. Lin Tianhao nodded. Lin family, a dining room. The long table was piled with top-grade ingredients, and I dug into my food with my head down. Fireball, mouth dripping with grease, woohoo. This is the taste. Fantastic. Earth shield, face full of bliss. Delicious. So this is the taste of the earth. Eat slower. No one's fighting you for it. Have some soup so you don't choke, Suwon said gently. Mom, it's mainly that it's so delicious. I answered vaguely, my movements not slowing in the slightest. After a few rounds of drinks, Lin Tianhao looked at me kindly. Mo you're nearly LV.20, just about able to learn a new basic skill. Any thoughts? Whichever element you want to learn, Mom will get you the best skill book. Suwon put down her chopsticks. her face full of anticipation. I swallowed my meat and mused. If I'm going to learn one, learn the strongest. From all the novels I read in my past life, I know full well that two attributes always stand at the top of the mage pecking order: light and dark. Either one was both cool and powerful, and if I could pull off a light-dark combination skill too. TSK, the picture was too beautiful. I looked up tentatively. Dad, Mom, could I learn a light element? Or a dark element? My parents exchanged a glance and looked troubled. What? Can't get the skill book? I was surprised. With the Lin family's wealth, was there anything they couldn't get? It's not that we can't get it. Suwon sighed softly, her tone serious. Light and dark may be called the strongest mage elements, but their demands on talent are harsh to the extreme. Their basic skill books are firmly controlled by the state and never enter the market. But the key point is, without the corresponding elemental affinity, forcibly learning these two elements will kill you. Kill. My heart skipped. That's right. Lin Tianhao nodded gravely. For ordinary elements, no affinity at most means you can't learn it, or the power is reduced. But light and dark are different. Without holy light affinity, the instant light element enters your body, you'll explode and die on the spot. As for dark element, its corrosiveness is extreme, and without the matching affinity, your mind will instantly collapse and you'll become a madman who knows nothing but slaughter. He spoke with earnest weight. Son, you've got talent, but you don't have the matching affinity, after all. Gambling your life on the odds. Your mom and I don't want you doing that. That's right, Suwon said, her eyes full of worry. You're already excellent, playing fire and earth with consummate skill. With your talent, even mastering only ordinary elements, you'll be more than able to become a mage lord who stands atop the world someday. No need to risk your life for one skill. If you really are set on it, it's not entirely without a chance, Lin Tianhao mused. Once you pass LV.100 someday, the elemental power in your body will theoretically be enough to withstand the light and dark incursion, with no danger to your life. As for now, take your dad's word, it's too early. A chill ran down my back. Good grief, explode and die. Become a madman? I want to get stronger, but I didn't want to kick the bucket. Okay, stop right there. Since it's that dangerous, forget it. I hurriedly waved my hands. Suwon breathed a sigh of relief and thought it over. Since light and dark are out, then how about learning lightning? Lightning is a rare attribute second only to light and dark, with extremely high burst damage and attack speed. The basic skill books aren't cheap, but money is the one thing our family never lacks. My eyes lit up. Lightning's great. Who these days doesn't dream of commanding lightning? Just then, Fireball popped up. Fireball scoffs. When it comes to burst, the fire element is the undisputed king of all magics. Lightning? All bark, no bite. Go sit at the kids' table, don't come near us. Before the great flame, lightning is a little brother. That fleeting, here-and-gone thing, fit to be mentioned in the same breath as the eternal flame? Shut it. My mouth twitched. One more squabble, and there's no fire dragon liver next meal. Fireball freezes, grinds its teeth, and goes straight to mute. Troublemaker handled. I looked up. Mom, I think lightning's great too. Cool enough. Let's go with it. Good. Suwon smiled. I'll have someone fetch it to your room shortly. All right, Mom, I said, wiping my mouth and asking offhandedly. Do we have any other low to mid-tier fire or earth skill books at home? I'd like to grab a few to study. In truth, I was curious. With skills this human-like, what would happen if I fed them skill books? Yes, we've got a whole pile of skill books. I'll send them all over together. Suwon nodded. Thanks, Mom. Satisfied, I stood. I'll head back to my room and prep for tomorrow's grand exam. After I left, the dining room quieted down. Old Lin, tomorrow's the grand exam. Suwon looked at Lin Tianhao. With MOR's current strength, taking the city top scorer spot is as easy as reaching into a bag. We just go clap at the venue. He blew a smoke ring. Suwon shot him a look. That's not what I mean. What good is a city top scorer spot? That old classmate of yours, Su Wenchong, isn't he an admissions officer for the Dragon Order class at the capital's Heavenly Dragon Academy? Give him a call. Get him to come watch this grand exam here in Zhanghai City. The Dragon Order class? Lin Tianhao blinked. That thing only admits SS rank talent and above, and even then it depends on grand exam performance. SS rank is just the threshold. This year, Shanghai City only produced one S-rank talent, Zhao Yu. Old Lin, has your brain gone screwy? Suwon cut him off flatly. What does Zhao Yu have to do with anything? Who does he think he is? Worthy of me specially pulling someone in to watch. I'm talking about our MOA. You think MOA's talent is inferior to some so-called SS rank? Are you blind? This string of sharp words made Lin Tianhao shrink his neck. Ahem. Calm your anger. Honey, that's not what I meant. Of course I know our son's incredible. I'm just worried that fellow old Su might be blind to it and refuse to come. Either way, my MOA is getting into that Dragon Order class. You'll tie him up and drag him there if you have to. Suwon sneered. Fine, fine, fine. I'll make the call in a bit. Lin Tianhao hurriedly agreed. Lin Mo's bedroom. The floor was covered with expensive fire and earth skill books. I sat cross-legged in the center of the carpet, a mid-tier fire skill, blazing fire pillar, in my hands. Learning a forbidden spell directly was impossible. Forbidden spells have no skill books at all, but learning some mid-tier skills wasn't bad. After all, one book cost 500,000. Blazing fire pillar could erupt a high-pressure column of fire from a fixed point on the ground. Paired with earth flow wall to reshape the terrain, I could absolutely pin monsters in and roast them like beggar's chicken. All right, learn. The skill book turned into a stream of crimson light and bored into the spot between my brows. Fireball, which had been dozing, saw that streaming light and, like a starving wolf spotting fresh meat, pounced on it without the slightest hesitation and swallowed the orb of light in one gulp. Learning failed. Your skill, Fireball, has devoured Blazing Fire Pillar. Fireball, Multi-Burst Fireball, and Blazing Spiral Dragon Bolt proficiency greatly increased. Current, Fireball LV.17, capped, Multi-Burst Fireball LV.13, Blazing Spiral Dragon Bolt LV.5. I sat stunned for 2 seconds. Hold on, a 500,000 a pop mid-tier skill book, and it just boosted proficiency? In this world, proficiency was a grind. An ordinary person had to repeatedly use a skill hundreds or thousands of times to raise at a single level, and a skill's level couldn't exceed your own. So at this stage, most people's skills were LV.5, and anyone who reached LV.10 was a grind king. But I eat one book and the skill level just shoots up? Paying to boost proficiency feels great. I'll count it a pleasant surprise. My veins twitched. But what I wanted was to learn a new skill. You little money pit. 500,000 a book just for some proficiency. Fireball lets out a satisfied belch, looking innocent. It was just too tasty. I couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. I sneered. Fine, tomorrow night's Fire Dragon liver is cancelled. Blaze Rhino cancelled too. From now on you can live on thin air. Fireball instantly panics. No, Daddy, no. Give me another chance. I'll definitely hold back next time. Seeing it back down, I tamped down my anger and picked up another blazing fire ring. If you dare eat this one, you can forget about meat for the rest of your life. I clicked to learn again. The streaming light entered my body. In the skill list, Fireball curled into a trembling ball, straining to restrain itself. Fireball shaking all over. Mustn't eat. Fire Dragon liver is delicious. Hold back. Its eyes start going bloodshot, its reason crumbling. But it's provoking me. My turf allows only one Lord of Flame. How can I let another sleep soundly at the side of my bed? Arg, after holding out a mere 3 seconds, instinct utterly conquered reason. Learning failed. Fireball has devoured Blazing Fire Ring. Proficiency greatly increased. Multi-Burst Fireball LV.16, Blazing Spiral Dragon Bolt LV.10. Good. Very good. You're done for life. Anger pushed me into a laugh. Fireball emotionally breaking down. I can't control myself. It's not my fault. Just then Earth Shield, which had been watching the whole time, jumped out. Earth Shield, filled with righteous indignation. Master, it did that on purpose. Can't control myself. What a load. That's just an excuse. A disloyal, faithless skill like that should be starved to death. It looks all obedient. Don't be angry, Master. I'm very well behaved. I'd never gobble things up like that brute. All right, Little Earth, you're the sensible one after all. I raised an eyebrow. Since you're so well-behaved, set an example for your big brother. This is Earth Spike, good for both offense and defense. Learn it, and show your big brother what it means to obey. Earth Shield, brimming with confidence. No problem, Master. Fireball got uneasy. What if this sly one could control itself? Then wouldn't there be no more fire dragon liver to eat? I clicked to learn straight away, and the yellowish-brown light bored into the spot between my brows. The Earth Shield that had sworn up and down a second ago instantly bristled the next. It sensed some same origin invasion, the threat of something trying to establish new rules on its territory. Learning failed. Earth Shield has devoured Earth Spike. Proficiency greatly increased. The air went quiet. Fireball, worried just moments ago, blinked, then rolled around on the floor cackling. Fireball, haha. Well behaved? Set an example? Go on, set me an example. You coward, you ate it even faster than me, and you've got the nerve to lecture me? Having finished devouring, Earth Shield wore a dazed look, shrinking into a corner and looking down at itself as if it had committed some monstrous sin. I didn't flare up again, but calmly asked, Little Earth, you can't control yourself either? Earth Shield, voice teary, Master, I really can't. It became completely clear to me. Personified skills had an exclusivity. Within my body, each element could have only one sovereign. Any incoming same element skill book would trigger their instinctive sense of territory. But a new skill of a different element was another matter. For instance, the lightning skill Lightning Strike I'd learn at LV.20, since lightning still had a vacant throne, could theoretically be learned normally. I shook my head with regret. In other words, I'm fated never to learn a new same element skill through skill books for the rest of my life. But I soon made peace with it. Others rely on day and night hard training to grind proficiency. I just have to throw money at it. Having thought it through, I swept my hand and pushed all the remaining skill books in front of me. Then let's max out all the skill levels first. 10 minutes later, I looked at my brand new panel and nodded with satisfaction. Fireball LV.17, Multi-Burst Fireball LV.17, Blazing Spiral Dragon Bolt LV.17, Earth Shield LV.17, Earth Flow Wall LV.17, Earth Dive LV.17, Lava Battle Armor LV.17, all maxed to the cap, on par with my own level. If anyone else knew, they'd probably envy me until their eyes popped out. They had to use skills over and over, day and night, just to raise proficiency a notch, while for me, throwing money at it maxed everything in an instant. I took a last look at that Lightning Strike book, still 3 levels short of being able to learn it. Lightning, the rarest mage element outside of light and dark, hailed as the strongest in burst and the fastest in speed. Hope it gives me a nice surprise when the time comes. The next morning, Ulin family. I woke refreshed and stretched lazily, at ease. Fireball, yawning, looking exhausted yet utterly content. Ah, so this is what dawn feels like. Awake? This lord wiped out every last one of that area's wild monsters last night, whole families included. No need to thank me. It's all necessary accumulation on the road to becoming a forbidden spell. Little fire. I couldn't help marveling. If circumstances allowed, I'd absolutely give you a Grind King of the Year trophy and parade you through the streets with a big red flower pinned on. Fireball snorts coldly, empty fame. What this lord cares about is power. After washing up, I headed to the dining room humming a tune. Today the atmosphere was more solemn than usual. Lin Tianhao in a crisp military dress uniform, chest covered with medals, his presence overwhelming. Su Wan in a dignified long black dress, elegant and sharp. Dad, Mom, morning. So formal. Anyone who didn't know would think you were being promoted to city lord today. I picked up a slice of toast. Brat, today's the grand exam. The whole city's watching, and your dad here is one of the chief examiners. Can I dress a little formally? Lin Tianhao's eye twitched. Su Wan ladled out a bowl of crimson flame beef brisket congee. Eat up, the grand exam is physically demanding, don't go hungry. Oh, and Lin Tianhao reminded me. The admissions officer for the capital's Heavenly Dragon Academy Dragon Order class will be here today, so put on a good showing. Dragon Order class? Is it a big deal? I raised an eyebrow. Put it this way, Lin Tianhao scoffed. Every year millions of examinees take the grand exam across the whole Dragon Nation. And those who get into Heavenly Dragon Academy are 1 in 10,000 geniuses. The Dragon Order class, meanwhile, never admits more than 20 a year. Get in, and you've essentially entered the nation's privileged class, with the right to act first and report later even while still a student. HSSSS. That's pretty impressive. I sucked in a breath. Don't worry, Dad. I'll definitely make you proud. To me, the grand exam was just a way to win my parents some face. Anywhere I ended up was about the same, since my skills would go level up on their own anyway. My parents exchanged a glance, full of relief. Good, that's the spirit. Lin Tianhao clapped my shoulder. Suwan straightened my collar and said gently, just do your best. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Whether you get into that class or not, in your parents' hearts you're the best. He glanced at his watch. About time. Your mom and I need to head over first to keep order and check the venue's security. Just take the family car over after you eat. Sure, go ahead. Shanghai City, a grand exam monitoring command center. In the ring-shaped hall, hundreds of high-definition screens monitored every corner of the exam venue in real time. My parents were already in the second-floor VIP monitoring room. Old Lin, you lured me all the way from the capital. If you end up making me watch a whole lot of nothing, I won't let you off the hook. A languid voice spoke up. Su Wenchang, cradling 2 walnuts, strolled over. Haha, how could I? Friends for years. When have I ever set you up? Lin Tianhao rose to greet him. Su Wenchang rolled his eyes and plopped down into the sofa. Spare me. What was it? Your son simultaneously comprehended 4 skills across both fire and earth, controlling them like an extension of his arm, point and hit. And a fire-earth combination skill too? You think you're writing a novel? If not for the years we spent in bunk beds back in the day, I definitely wouldn't have come. Whether it's a novel, you'll know once the exam starts. Lin Tianhao smiled mysteriously and poured a cup of tea. I'll say just one thing. If your Dragon Order class doesn't take my son today, it'll be the greatest loss of your life, and a loss for the nation. Don't go inflating it on me. Just then Zhao Lei came over with several aides. The moment his eyes landed on Su Wenchang, his pupils contracted slightly. Oh, if it isn't old Su, what brings you here too? He couldn't figure it out. Could it be he'd come for his own S-rank son? A flush of delight rose in his heart. Looked like his face was big enough that Su had come scurrying over without even being asked. The 3 of them had been classmates at the same university back in the day. Lin Tianhao was the recognized combat maniac of the whole school, a runaway first. Zhao Lei was the perpetual runner-up, always edged out. And Su Wenchang was the gossip-loving spectator who never minded a bit of drama. For decades, Zhao Lei had been itching to beat Lin Tianhao just once. No secret among the old classmate circle. Old Zhao, long time no see. Su Wenchang smiled faintly. I'm here at old Lin's invitation. He hyped his son up as a once-in-a-millennium prodigy and insisted I come see for myself. At old Lin's invitation, Zhao Lei blinked, then couldn't help laughing out loud. Old Lin, the Dragon Order class is a place that looks at hard strength. You invited old Su. Are you trying to pull strings through the back door? Or did you prep a single-use skill scroll for Lin MO, planning to cheat? Let me advise you against any such ideas. The consequences of cheating at the exam are severe. Lin Tianhao didn't even lift his eyelids, blowing on his tea. Zhao Lei, your scope tops out right about there. Measuring a gentleman's heart with a scoundrel's gauge all day long. No wonder you couldn't catch up to me back then. And now, in the next generation, you can't catch up either. You. Zhao Lei's face darkened, then he snorted coldly. Humph. I'd like to see what heaven-defying showing your son puts on later. He turned to Su Wenchang. Old Su, I'd suggest you pay more attention to my Zhao Yu. S-rank fire element affinity, a blaze mage. I've put him through devil training these past few days, and his proficiency and casting speed are absolutely the top score material of Shanghai City this year. An S-rank fire mage, indeed not bad. Su Wenchang smiled politely. But the Dragon Order class chooses people by affinity and by on-the-spot performance. I'll watch everyone, no rush. Airtight, neither agreeing nor refusing. Zhao Lei leaned back into the sofa, inwardly overjoyed. Originally, his S-rank son would have had no chance to display himself before an admissions officer. But Lin Tianhao had gone and invited Su Wenchang over. How heaven-defying could that blank slate Lin MO possibly be? Failing to catch the officer's eye, He'd instead hand Zhao Yu a perfect stage to perform on. This is a godly assist. He picked up his phone and sent Zhao Yu a message. Son, perform well later. The Dragon Order class admissions officer is here.